The 2025 Summer Disc Golf Battle Royale is coming, May 24th to September 28th to a course probably near you but far from me. The Summer Disc Golf Battle Royale is a bracket-style, double elimination match play tournament. Players will be divided into two pools based on their PDGA rating. One pool for players above a 915 rating and the other for 914 and below. The pools will play fully separate tournaments that each have their own prize pool based on their entries. It's $25 to play, which includes entry into the Ace Pot with trophies and cash for the top 8 finishers. Preliminary rounds will be played at Stony Kill Disc Golf Course May 17th, 18th, 24th, 25th, and 26th at 10 a.m., with seeding determined by stroke play. You can still play if you can't make these dates, you just get a bottom seed. Follow the 2025 Summer Battle Royale Facebook page for more details. While we're waiting on Jaimen, I can go over some last Monday Colonial Acres dubs. Christopher, Evan, Chuck, and Brandon Klein shot a -16.
You know what they do, play on a foursome?
Oh, because there's...
yeah, the names.
And Saratoga Spa Random Dubs Week 5, Logan Akins and Mike Jackson shot a -10. We could talk about Mighty Gaw.
We can do that.
I think we can, yeah.
I didn't do an intro, and I don't. You know what? I don't think I will. Welcome to the Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast. It's me, Corey, and Randy.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Mighty Gaw. What is this? I got to do my Roman numerals. 18 in Mahwah, New Jersey. Tournament director Tyler McKinnon. 75 players. Mixed junior under 18. CJ Schneider. Schneider won that by 6 strokes over Charlie Hurd. MA2 mixed amateur 2. Trevor Lambert won by 2 strokes over Ryan Larkowski. Richard Mango and Joe Schneider. Looks like they tied MA40. Doesn't show a tiebreaker, so we're just gonna.
Oh, these are the guys. Actually, kind of funny story about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if either of these guys listen, but so first, Richard Mango won in a playoff. Round 1, while we were playing our round, like the last hole, I knew who was ahead of us, and we get to the last hole that we played, and I realized that there was people between us now. Come to find out they were casuals that got on the course. So fast forward round 2, same thing. I'm finishing on hole 3, so you kind of go through 1, 2, 3. And while we were playing hole 1 from the longs, a group of guys showed up behind us that we thought were casuals playing the green tees, or the green layout again. We get to hole 2, which, if you know Mighty Gaw, it kind of takes like regular blue hole 2 and adds like another shot to it. So your landing zone is kind of like where the tee pad is for blue hole 2. So while we get to our drives, we see the same group of guys show up on the tee pad, and we're literally mid-hole, and these guys are trying to throw to the same basket we're playing, and I thought they were casuals. So like I said, like, hey man, we're playing our, finishing up our round right here, if you guys just wait. And then somebody threw, and then I think these guys like try to throw again, and I'm like, hey, we're in a tournament, we're trying to finish our round. And I assumed that they were casuals, but they weren't. They were these guys playing their playoff. So I kind of felt like an asshole after that. I probably would have used different words, like, I made it seem like they were just casuals, and I didn't know if they were playing a playoff. But
not for nothing, it doesn't matter either way, I don't think. I mean,
they definitely should be
throwing on you.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. But I mean, they probably didn't know, but I just thought that was funny. Now that I'm looking at it on the PGA Live, like, oh yeah, these are the guys that were probably behind us playing the playoff. So anyways, I do know that Richard Mango took the win with like a 50-foot putt or so, a 40-foot putt, definitely a deep putt. They were going kind of nuts, so good for him.
Nice. Aaron Logue won the MA1 Mixed Amateur 1 division by 1 stroke over Tom Keeley. Michael D'Angelo won the MP40 division with a -8. Amber Stout won FPO by 1 stroke over Emily Moore. And how'd Pro go, Corey? How was your day?
So this was the day that they were going to blow up that hotel down there?
They've been talking about that since the monthly was scheduled there. I remember a couple weeks ago they mentioned that.
Yeah, I thought it was happening there in the monthly, but I guess
it was supposed to. They kept delaying it and such.
So yeah, as if going to Mighty Gaw isn't kind of a pain in the ass enough, since that's always the day they schedule their like whatever countywide recycling day.
Yeah.
You know how to deal with this implosion happening, and knowing that they were going to shut the highways down and there was just so much traffic and people out and about. We were trying to get down there around the time they were planning on shutting the highway down, but we didn't want to like leave. What we're going to do, like, leave like a half an hour early and then get to the course at like an hour and a half before starting a round. So we decided to just say screw it, and myself and Kyle Hirsch met up in Selkirk around 6, aiming to get there by around 8. Kyle thought it was a smart idea to like not put gas in his car. So once we were on the highway down there and we hit basically the roadblock, his car was like on empty. I don't know how much was in there, but it said empty with not much left range to go. So I was getting kind of nervous. It was, by this point, it was like 8:15 or 8:10 trying to get to the course. And I know that they were trying to have everyone there by like 8:30. So between trying to like get off the highway, take surface streets, getting stuck in traffic anyways, trying to find a gas station, and then finally getting to the course and passing all the traffic for the recycling event, I think we get to the parking lot at 8:35 or so. Start time at 9 o'clock. And get out of the car, go to like put our shoes on and get out there to check in. And I realize I put one shoe on, I grab my other shoe, and I notice it is also a right shoe. I brought two. This is where I shot myself in the foot to get two of the similar pair of shoes. I brought two right shoes. So I'm screwed. I'm screwed. My daily driver shoes that I wear are not anywhere close to like sporty related. They're like borderline like business casual. So no grip, definitely not waterproof. So I kind of say, screw it. Like, I'm here. I'm not going to I'll try to do what I can do. I got one Adidas Terex on my right foot. I got some other bullshit on my left foot. I'm walking through the parking lot. One of the first people I see by the course warming up that I recognized was Nick Terralavaro from like the Wilcox area. And I kind of just jokingly asked him, like, what size shoe do you wear? And he said 10 and a half. Or maybe I asked him if he had a spare pair of shoes and asked him what shoe he had. Either way, he said like a size 10 or 10 and a half. And I usually wear like a size 11. 11 and a half. 11 and a half or 12. So I'm like, screw it. I guess I'll try it and see what it's like. So I put his shoe on and it was tight. And for the first about 20 minutes, my foot was kind of hurt. But after that, it actually felt kind of normal. But I looked like an idiot wearing a bright pink and white shoe on the right side and a black shoe on the left.
Mighty Gaw, traditionally, the weather's iffy. How was it? From what I remember of Saturday, it was a pretty nice day, but it had rained like the previous week. How were the conditions, like the grass and all that kind of stuff?
Some of the wooded holes that didn't have elevation to them on a slope or whatever, the flat wooded holes were a little muddy. Oddly enough, I started on hole 4. By the time I got to like 15 and 18, the grass really wasn't wet, which was surprising because I wish the temperature was about 5 degrees warmer because I went out there with like sweatpants and a light hoodie. But once you start walking up those hills, like that's too much. But when you weren't playing because you were on a 5-some, you had a backup or whatever, it got kind of chilly. But it was windy, and I mean pretty windy, and not just like a constantly direct wind. When we got to hole 14, which is the one that kind of plays on the top of the top of the hill, it kind of goes across the top. I mean, it was windy, but it was swirling, so you couldn't you didn't know what to throw, stable or understable or whatever.
For us Southerners, Corey, that is a mountain.
I was joking about like, do people buy season passes here, or like who even skis? This is more of a sled hill. But when that's what you got, But no, conditions were pretty good. When we were playing the blue layout round 1, I did scope out a couple of the black tees just as we were walking by them, and I knew that they were going to be a shit show. We just got so much water, and I know those guys down there did a lot of work. What work they did, I don't know, but I'm sure they had a lot to deal with. So I was just happy I was not wearing my dress shoe on my left foot by the time we played those holes.
You drove or he drove?
Kyle drove.
Okay. You drove to meet. So it's not like, So that was my first thought. Like, what kind of shoe do you wear to drive? You walk in the grass for 5 seconds, they're probably going to be drenched.
Yeah. And if I had to throw a forehand, there's no way my left foot was going to grip. I mean, I'm sure most of my putts, my back foot was going to slip. Like I can't even walk in the snow because like, even if it's fluffy snow, they just slip out everywhere. I need new shoes.
Well, I mean, they're driving shoes. They're not necessarily.
Yeah. So, started round 1 on, hole 4, which is that like up the hill shot on the front 9. Typically it's a hole that I usually like birdie both times somehow, and I bogeyed it this time. And from there, I struggled. I've been dealing with like a fingertip issue where like a callus kind of got torn off, but it was kind of doable up to that day. About halfway into this round, it basically like ripped off. So I had a chunk. I say chunk because it was definitely a chunk. It wasn't just like I was missing the top layer. I had a chunk missing from the tip of my finger, and it was kind of like a piece of flappy skin. So every time I would like put my bag on or put my phone in my pocket or do whatever, it would kind of snag. So I finished that round out. On the short layout, you got to get birdies. And although I didn't get a lot of bogeys and I took a lot of good pars, I didn't get nearly enough birdies. So I think I finished even, which was not a great round. I saw scores of like 5 down was in like second place. And then I saw even was tied for 16. And I was surprised at how tight that was. Like, whatever, 11 or 12 people separated by only 5 strokes. But at this point, I walked all over Camp Gaw with 2 different shoes on. My finger is basically inoperable. And because of that, I had like no confidence throwing backhands. Like I didn't want to like over grip it because I didn't want to like hurt my finger more. So if things were coming out early, or I would try a slightly different grip, but grip tighter to like try to compensate, and then grip lock and stuff. So by the time it came to lunchtime, kind of talking with Kyle, and he was like, dude, you shouldn't even play. Like, you're not going to be able to play your rating. I think he was really just wanting me to caddy for him. He just wanted someone to carry his bag because like I had nowhere to go. I rode with him. But I feel like at this point, yeah, everyone's trying to get their rating up, but I kind of didn't care anyways. Like, I'm already down there. I'm not going to get my money back. If I can play and not like absolutely destroy my finger further, then whatever, I might as well play. So some random guys in the parking lot, one dude gave me some new skin, another guy gave me a few band-aids. And prior to that round, I was talking with Ryan Nelson, and we were kind of like, oh, yeah, we should try to play a round 2 together. I thought that means I was going to have to play well. Actually, what happened is Ryan didn't play so hot. So round 1 also, there was an ace. Zach Doyle aced hole 6. It's the tee pad that's shaped like an A. There's like a tree like in the back middle of the tee pad that they went around, and like the basket's like just behind like a boulder. So Zach Doyle aced that hole. Was not in the ace pot. So it basically didn't even count. So round 2 came around. Like I said, screw it. I'm here. I might as well play. But I kind of like told my card, I'm like, I'm not planning on it. I'm going to go as far as I can, but there's a chance that I don't finish this round if I can't take it anymore. And on my card was myself, Ryan Nelson, Zach Doyle, and 2 other guys, Kevin Sheehan, and I forget who the other guy was. Oh, well. Anyways.
Brandon Martin?
It might have been Braden. I can't remember if I played with some of these guys first round or second round.
That would be all the 57s in round 1.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense to look at round 1 scores. So I think it was Braden Martin. He was like younger. Me, Braden, Ryan Nelson, Kevin Sheehan, and Zach Doyle. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like, great weather, didn't get enough birdies, but the black tees were smoked. There was multiple holes where you were basically throwing from a mud pit. It's just what it was. Like, there was standing water in there. So there was a lot more standstills round 2 than round 1. Some of the holes that are always wet, whether it rains a bunch or not, were just as wet. I think it's like hole 11 is one that kind of plays up a ski trail, and that one's super wet and muddy, but kind of used to that. The one odd thing is I don't think I saw any crazy rollaways, and there's a lot of holes you can get rollaways in that course. So I'm also glad it didn't happen to me. But yeah, like I said, round 2, played with a good group of guys. I kind of struggled as I expected. I don't think I did anything crazy. Ryan Nelson was calling for a forehand roller like both rounds the entire time, and no one would please him until I think Kevin Sheehan threw one on, it'd be 16 up the hill because he got he got a bad roll away. So he finally threw a forehand roller. The only thing else I could think of is there were a couple of eagles round 2. Kyle got one on hole 7. Hole 7 from like the blue tee is the one where you're trying to not hit the boulder right from the tee pad if you throw forehands. Kyle eagled that one from the long position, and it looks like Jaden Brubacher eagled hole 5. But yeah, so once I finished my round is when lead card was coming down hole 18. So I got to watch that. That was Craig Cutler, Jaden Brubacher, Mark Peters, Kyle Hirsch, and Matt Bruder, I believe. And if you played Mighty Gaw before, that means that there's a group of guys down there betting on if someone's going to go OB or hit or get a metal hit. Usually with a couple of brewskis. And I think so I watched like basically the lead card were getting to their shots that were about to cross the road. And Kyle was behind Craig Cutler by 2 strokes. I think after hole 17, Craig Cutler was 13 down and Kyle was 11 down. Not knowing how the hole had progressed by that point, I think Kyle and Craig were both throwing basically just short of the road. And I think Craig basically parked his approach. Kyle put his about 20, 25 feet short left, and Kyle doinks his putt for par, to which he'll tell you that he did the exact same thing last year. So I guess doinking that basket on hole 18, second round, is kind of a Kyle Hirsch thing. But it didn't really matter because Craig Cutler tapped in his par. However, it did kind of matter because Kyle bogeyed, and that got him into a tie for second with Shea Scott, who was on the chase card. Yeah, so we didn't really stick around. It was a long day. I think my watch said like 100 floors and 28,000 steps. So we got on the road and hit up Chick-fil-A, and I think I was home by almost 8:30. I think that second round was like 4.5 hours.
Did you guys stop in Jersey for gas? Because that would have been a smart thing.
No, we stopped for gas before getting to, in Jersey before the round.
Okay.
And Kyle was, I don't know if Kyle had experience getting gas in New Jersey before.
He'd love it.
Used to be a lot cheaper, but I think it still is a little cheaper, but you still don't pump your own.
Yeah. Unless Jaimen's taken him to New Jersey before.
Not that I remember.
You didn't mention that you beat Nick Terravoro by 1 stroke with his shoe on in round 1.
That was kind of one of the jokes. After round 1, I was ahead of Nick by 1 stroke, and he said something, or I told him like, "Yeah, sorry, Nick, but I really appreciated giving me your shoe." And he's like, "It's all right. I'll just I'll remember this come Team Challenge season that you only won." And I said, "Yeah, man, whatever you need."
I'm surprised he didn't ask you to swap out shoes. Maybe he wanted to switch.
I did tell him, I'm like, "Hey, if this shoe is dry, if you need to change shoes or whatever, if you need your shoe back, just let me know. I'll wear your swampy, muddy shoe, or I'll put my other shoe back on if I have to." And then I played with Ryan Nelson, and he said he had spare shoes, and guess what? Wears the same size I do. So I should have asked him first, but.
I think that's just good karma because you gave me socks at Blatnick one time and then I beat you. So this is just it all coming back around.
Yeah, I never did get those socks back. Nick did get those back.
You didn't want those back.
So Ryan ended up -3. Justin looks like -6. You mentioned Kyle was -10, tied for second with Shea Scott, and Craig Cutler, your winner, at -13. No Brinster this year.
No Brinster this year. There were some other people that I feel like I would see there, but I think they were all, outside of just like Jaimen. There were some other people that I feel like are classic Camp Golf players, and I think that they were all at the Kazakh Open as well.
And you didn't finish DFL with somebody else's shoe on, so something.
Nah, I tried. But, I mean, to see, like, from 15 to 16 place, there's a 4-stroke gap. And I think the cash line would have been 22-8. What is that, top 9? Top 9 was 7 down. I would have had to go 10 strokes better. Well, actually, yeah, if the cash line was 7 down, Josh Martin threw a 954. He threw a 980 average. I don't think I was throwing 980s out there that day, especially not with 2 of my own shoes and with a blown up finger. So
he only got you by 1 stroke in round 1.
Yeah. So then the thing is, like, do I go? I feel like I never do go to Camp Gaw, and I really thought that I was going to be able to play well this year. And as soon as I didn't have my right shoes, I knew that was out the window. But
I mean, +3 is not terrible. Like you said, 6 strokes and you're in top 10.
Yeah, sometimes I ask, like, why do I keep going back to Camp Gaw? But I'm like, nah, why wouldn't I go to Camp Gaw? It's pretty unique, and it is fun golf, even though like the black tees are a challenge when they're in that shape. But
I was going to say, especially having to throw from a standstill from the longer, and you play it once a year.
Yeah, they're actually, luckily some of them are not actually like long holes. They're kind of more position shots. You can still get there with a standstill on some of them. But yeah, maybe next year.
Nice. Anything else on Mighty Gaw? You don't get a player's pack. Never mind.
But I didn't even look. I think they were doing the pizza cutters again because I feel like I heard someone talk about the pizza cutters, which I will say again, still best pizza cutter I've had. And I literally just used it 2 days ago.
Nice. All right. Jaimen, before you got here, all the talk was about this Cosmic Open at Maple Hill presented by MVP. Tournament Director Steve Dodge, Assistant Tournament Director David Gralnick, 181 players. What went on Friday? Apparently that was all the talk.
Yeah, Friday was rough. Like 45 degrees-ish and just raining. And it was like kind of a steady rain that, just kind of got to everybody. I was able to kind of keep my hands warm. Not warm, I was actually cold. But I was able to keep my hands dry throughout the entire round. But towards the end of the round, it got that weird, your hands are so dry they're getting too grippy kind of thing.
They're getting pruny.
Yeah, not pruny. It was I kept them dry. They didn't get wet for an extended period of time the entire round, but it was like clammy. It was weird, but it was, so that led to some mistakes later on. But for me, that whole first round was defined just because I got hung up and wasn't able to get to my tee time on time. So once the tee times came out, I realized that I was playing at 3:20 in the afternoon. I was like, all right, I'm not driving to Massachusetts on Thursday, staying away from home an extra night. If my tee time's at 3:20 in the afternoon, I had a concert that I needed to conduct on Thursday anyways. So I would be, getting to Massachusetts 1 in the morning. It just wasn't worth it. So I worked a half day in the morning and left at 11 and left with plenty of time. I should have gotten there about half an hour before my tee time, which at Maple, you can't warm up anywhere. So that's plenty of time. Half an hour is almost too much time to stand around anyways. But right when I got, I don't know, the road names are stupid in Albany. So when I got off of 90 onto 90, I immediately hit a traffic jam that there was a tractor trailer that had slid off the road and they were pulling it back on. One of the lanes was closed. And so I went from being half an hour early to 4 minutes late. So that's stressful because I knew that I was going to be 4 minutes late for 2 hours, which is the worst. So I'm worrying about that the entire time. I called the pro shop a couple times, and both times I talked to them, they're saying, tee times are 10, 15 minutes behind right now. Obviously try to get here as fast as you can, but you'll probably be good, So I was feeling I'd kind of lucked out. Looking at the weather, it definitely looked like things were moving slow anyways. So I was, thinking that I was going to be all right. And I called the pro shop one last time at 3:03. And we're talking on the phone. And then at 3:07, I remember he said, just to give you an idea of where we are right now, it's 3:07 and the 3 o'clock tee has not teed off yet. I was like, oh, okay. So this is, I'm going to still be running up out of breath and throwing, but, I'm going to be on time. I'm not going to get stroked. And sure as shit, Steve Dodge, in the 5 minutes between that conversation and when I got there, essentially decided that he was going to cram everybody out onto the course and get everything back on time. So I pull up 2-hole 1 at 3:24 and my card is nowhere in sight, long gone. So Dave, the guy who was starting everybody, who I think he's the owner of Cosmic, was like, well, sorry, I would just go to hole 2. So that was the story of my round. Starting off with a quad bogey is not really an exciting way to start a tournament. But everybody else really kind of gave up quick in that round. I was talking to people all weekend, and people were talking about how they didn't have any grip by hole 3 and that kind of stuff. And I think that's a lack of preparation. Nobody was caught unaware, and if they were, it's their own fault kind of thing. It's not like a surprise rainstorm that happened all day. That was in the forecast basically all week. But the grip was not good, and if you were able to, stay on top of that and maintain it, that wasn't the issue. The issue was it was cold and muddy and disgusting. And, everybody was making mistakes. So, I couldn't have chosen a better time to be late for my tee time, because even with that par +4 on that first round, I took third on my card. I was able to beat one of the guys and very close to beating another guy. He just had kind of a late round push. So, it was a lot of fun. Even with all the garbage, I had a really great card who kind of kept everything light and didn't let it get to him too much. So that was good. I played with one of Corey's nemesis, Corey.
Antonio?
No, Corey.
Oh, wait, Fournier?
Yeah.
The dude. Yeah, that guy. Spells it with a K.
Yep.
Fucking idiot.
No. He's a vegan too.
Oh man, did he tell you about it? I know they like to do that.
No, he didn't say it once. I just remember when we played them, one of the guys on Barry was a vegan. I do think he's the anti-Corey. Throws all backhands.
Throws really far.
Yep, didn't throw. No.
He takes throws far.
Yeah,
just putters everywhere. No, I actually don't know what he throws.
Oh man, a vegan that only throws putters. You got to hear about that in every hole. Oh, I threw a putter in this hole. Oh, I don't eat meat.
What did they talk about first?
Yeah, exactly. I did make that joke during Mighty Gaw. I forgot what we were talking about. I'm like, some guy threw a putter on that hole. I'm like, oh yeah, what are you, a vegan too?
Let me guess, you do CrossFit. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a super good card. So I was able to finish that round. And there was this glow thing going on. So halfway through the round, I texted the group chat for the Airbnb and was like, hey guys, can somebody just bring me a coffee so when we get to this glow round, I have something warm? And luckily they had abandoned that idea. So I was, wet and resigned to go out and play another round of disc golf after that. And luckily did not have to, but it was certainly an experience. I learned a lot about my bag that round.
Did your round finish super late or something?
Yeah, I finished almost in complete darkness at 8 o'clock. There were 4 cards behind me, so I was not the one that finished with the most dark. Like we had just, the last couple of shots on 18 in real darkness, but it was not a fun way to finish. It was a little frustrating throughout the round. I felt like we'd wait on a hole for like 2 cards sometimes, like hole 9. We'd just sit there and wait. And then Steve Dodge would show up right when it was our time to play and then just like push us along as fast as we could. It's like, hurry up and wait. It was very annoying. For us, we seemed to be the ones that were needing to get pushed all the time, even though we were waiting on people. It's not like we were slowing anybody down ourselves.
Why don't we alternate? Randy, you played there as well?
Yes, I did.
You played MA1?
I did. I played MA1.
Baggers.
Signing up. Yeah. Well, turns out I might be an MA1 player. But no, signing up for this event, looking at the field, everything, it's like my options were to pay like $200 that I would just be giving away. I'd be one of the lowest rated players in the event for pro, or AM was close to like $100. I get a player's pack. It was like a true AM event. So there's no payout. So like kind of stress free, more of just like a getaway fun weekend versus MPO would have been, I think, a different vibe. So yeah, I have no regrets playing MA1 for this. I think I was still maybe like the 10th highest rated player. Like I wasn't like way up at the top exactly. So, it seemed like a lot of people were doing that.
See, Corey, he was only the 10th bagger.
See, I missed all of Randy's excuses while I was going to get a beer, I think. But I was also just dogging you, Randy. You played where you should have been.
No, it went through my head. But in Massachusetts at an A tier, it's different than playing Blatnick Breeze. So
yeah, you didn't want to go play golds and throw 40 over.
I mean, I probably would have done bad. Like, I'm not saying I would have done great on golds, but I think the ratings were just a little inflated from a lot of people playing bad for the weather. So like just part of me thinks if I had played that, I might have been able to bogey my way through like decent rated rounds, but we'll never know.
I see Joey Apples, David Koch, John J.P. Hafner also played in the MA1 division. Adam Nelson.
Yeah, we had a good local scene playing MA1.
Some wedge guys too.
Yeah.
Adam Gutman was there. Chris Lucier.
What time was your tee time, and did you go down on Thursday or Friday?
So yeah, my tee time was late enough. I think it was 10:40. So we drove on Friday morning, dropped the kids off with Kat's dad, got to the course with I think a solid 45 minutes to warm up, which is also kind of a long time when it's just practice baskets and a net. It's kind of too much time to think about it. But that time of day, it was just insanely foggy and a little cold. It hadn't really rained. There was a little bit of like drizzle coming down, but not too bad. So on hole 1, discs disappeared from vision before they had crossed the pond. It was really cool to watch. And there was a spotter out there, and you just hear a voice from the void be like, good, or kind of not. You could see if they hit the water, at least. There was some visibility for that. So you knew if you went in. But yeah, for that round, I was, able to clear hole 1 from the diamond layout, which isn't, I don't think it's too daunting for people with distance, as long as the wind isn't too crazy.
Did you guys play the same layouts as the pro?
No. So we played diamonds, which has definitely way less risk on the water carry holes. They shorten those up. Some of the holes are basically the same, but it's good changes. I mean, if I was going to go play a round for fun at Maple, I would play diamond. It's pretty enjoyable layout. It takes away some of the teeth from gold for sure. So round 1, it was overall good. We played the first 9 holes, like I said, in the fog, a little bit of drizzle. I think I had my umbrella out, but it wasn't really coming down. I bogeyed a few holes on the front 9 that were kind of just silly nerve mistakes. I was, putting well, thinking I'm having a good round, and then the rain and the wind pick up for the back 9, and I'm on hole 12 and 13, and I just immediately double bogey both of those, kind of rushing because of the rain, like not taking my time, worried about keeping my hands dry, all that stuff. More of mental errors than, like the conditions like actually affecting like the flight of the disc, if that makes sense. And then I coasted through the rest of the round. I was really happy. I played 18, like really calculated with a lot of wind on 18. It's easy to mess it up. And, I was able to throw good tee shot, get that really nice layup right before the OB line, and then have an easy little toss to the basket to take a tap in. Because I do not want a 20-foot putt in that little island with a bunch of people sitting around. I'm playing hole 18 to have a tap in as often as I can, for sure. So I came out of that round 8 over, which was just right about at my rating. And that's kind of how I felt the whole round. I didn't really do anything super cool. I was birdie free, but in the conditions that wasn't that bad. And I was in like a decent spot as well. So got out of that round feeling okay.
Did you guys get like a B&B, or was it kind of everybody for themselves?
There was an Airbnb for Thursday night too that a bunch of us didn't utilize. I think half of us did. For Friday night, we all got back. Everyone was kind of just cold and wet, and we stayed in and watched like YouTube and just hung out. Alex made margaritas and tacos, which really hit the spot.
I bet he didn't have an engine driving that bad boy.
No, I bet you they were strong though.
They were. I think it was like a 1-to-1 ratio of tequila to everything else. Because golly, they were strong.
Who all was at the B&B?
So Kat and Kate were there, and then it was Alex, JP, me, Jaimen, Adam Nelson.
You say Koch?
Koch, David Koch. That's right. Corey Buns himself.
Corey Buns. All right. So who had the first tee time on Saturday between you guys?
Randy.
Yep.
What time was that, and how'd that go?
It was like basically the same time. I think it might have been 10:30 instead. That round was basically a 180, even though it kind of played out similarly. I think it was raining for the first half of my round. I kind of forgot how to putt that day, but I was correcting on the throws that I'd made mistakes on the day prior. So I got a few birdies, but then I felt a little just like cursed on the holes that I had done well on the day before. Hole 5, for example, I had a birdie putt on the day before, but it was like just a little outside the circle, missed it, whatever, no big deal. Walk away with a tap and par on a hole, fine. Day 2, I hit like first available trying to go over the water, which is fine. And then I give myself a par putt actually from the circle's edge facing the water. And, day before, making all my putts. So I'm just like telling myself, be confident, make the putt, no big deal. Give it a confident bid. It hits the top of the band and ramps and goes in the water. So I take now a tap in double bogey. And it's just like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. Like I haven't had putts ramp off the top in a while. So my round, gets a little derailed right there, but then I go on and I birdie hole 7. So I'm, feeling good again, confident, get to hole 8, throw a good looking shot, hit a tree, lands barely in the water. Like it was touching grass that is normally dry, but the water was really high, yada, yada, whatever. Bogey, still not feeling too bad. I pick up a birdie in the middle on 11. And then I had another, and then 14, which is that water carry hole. Shout out Adam Nelson. He did ace it on the first day in the rain. I think he was the only ace in AM1 for that day.
Which is kind of a crazy hole to ace.
It's a really good ace. But I had an ace run where my whole card at least gave me the ooh, like as it hit the chips like right before the basket.
AMIs must have been hard case.
Exactly. It was good. It was good. But I have a 20-foot, like not exactly death putt, like a little bit parallel to the water. And the gatekeeper guy filming B-roll walks out behind me as I'm walking to my lie. So like I watch him. I know he's about to film me make this putt or not make this putt. And I'm like, all right, I have to make a putt with water behind it, with a camera guy on me, and it's windy. And I'm just once again like, be confident, just, hit metal, whatever. What do I do? Confidently hit the top of the band, ramp off, go into the water.
Oh no.
Go from birdie to bogey real quick. That's just kind of how that round kind of went. I got a little greedy trying to like make up strokes near the end of that. I went for the island on 18, which I never do, never really practiced it. And of course, didn't make the island. So, tap in bogey. So I shot one stroke worse in arguably better conditions in round 2.
Jaimen, when it comes to tee times, they usually do the pros last, right? So that in theory, the lead card can finish up and everybody else can watch.
Yeah.
Do you prefer that, or would you rather get your round done earlier?
Either way, just having like an amount of time before my tee time is really what I care about, or like before or after. So, if I have an 8 o'clock tee time, that's awesome because then I've got the afternoon. If I got 2 o'clock tee time, that's awesome because I got the morning. But it's like, if I have a noon, that's like, all right, I don't really have enough time to do anything unless I wake up a little extra early. And those are the ones that are kind of day killers, I feel like.
And what was your tee time at this one?
2 o'clock.
Oh, okay. So how'd your second round go?
My second round went great. I'm trying to remember who I was playing with. I should know that. I don't.
3 rounds. That's, we'll have to remember.
Yeah. I feel like it's like people I know, though. Man, that's going to annoy me. I'll figure it out. So I got there on time. I kind of just hung out all morning because it was raining. I would thought about going and playing another course and warming up it a little bit, but
Did you already say how far the Airbnb was, of course?
like 7 minutes.
Oh, nice.
It was super close. Yeah, it was nice. Just kind of like hanging out, watching some old just disc golf coverage. Got to the course, warmed up a little bit. It's like it's weird. I don't warm up for Maple Hill because there's nothing to do there. Like I think I threw 2 putter shots and then just kind of like puttered around for a second. I went into the pro shop and bought a Volt because one of the things I learned the day before is that I either have a too overstable fairway or a understable fairway and nothing in the middle. So Volt is a disc that I've been eyeing to fix that gap. And so I got that thinking that I wasn't going to use it all in the round. But
real quick, Josh DiBattista, John Moldoff, and Rick Steeler were on your card.
Okay, yeah. So all people I've played with. I played with John down at AGA a couple of years ago. Man, why couldn't I remember that? Thank you. I've played with Josh at a bunch of different things. He's a main guy. And then Ricky Steeler is a former touring player from the Buffalo area that actually just moved to the area. So we're talking about like, why the hell did you move to my area kind of thing. So it was a fun round. So it was a completely dry day, but really windy. There was no getting away from the wind, which kind of was the tail of my round. But I was always getting like lucky wind stuff. It was pretty crazy, some of the just like stupid, weird, lucky shots I had. Hole 6, I threw my drive and like turned it over, just bounced straight for the middle of like the tree field on the right, just thinking there's no chance. It kicks a tree, kicks it forward more into the fairway and lands probably like 120 feet away from the basket. Then I take a forehand and, try to put it out close to the basket, and the wind lifts it like 10 feet in the air and then hits some branches directly above the basket and sits it down like right next to the basket. So like tap in 3 on hole 6 after throwing 0 good shots. Everything should have been out of bounds, but that was kind of how it was going. I birdied hole 5 on a forehand with a Volt that I just bought from the pro shop, thinking, like I said, that I wasn't going to throw it and being very wrong about that. And then I threw it in the pond on hole 8. So I guess that all evens out, and I've not gotten it back. Yeah, just kind of up and down round. I was bumping along. Nobody else on my card was really doing anything too great. I felt like the mental toll of the day before kind of was still like pretty heavy on a lot of people. Like people were giving up pretty easily on just kind of the tournament in general. Once I got to the back nine, I kind of started to heat up a little bit. I had a stretch from 13 to 15 where if I could have just made like 2 20-foot putts, I would have gone birdie, 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 which 3 birdies in a row, 3 birdies in a round is really good on Maple Gold, but 3 in a row is like just absolute bonus territory. But I suck at putting lately, so I only made one of them.
They should come up with a name for when you hit 3 birdies in a row. That'd be cool.
Could be like a type of bird.
Like, yeah, because birdies, oh man.
Yeah.
Nothing's coming to me.
Ben Franklin has something to say about this.
Right?
So I was playing well. The highlight of the round for me was taking a par on hole 17. 17 used to be this like really simple par 4 that everybody wanted to birdie. Like if you didn't birdie it, you were losing strokes on the field kind of things. And the second to last hole in the round, that's kind of a momentum killer, it's just a couple of pretty executable shots. And if you get to that spot and you need to make strokes up on somebody, you're basically sunk. You got to rely on them to just make some giant errors. And if it's coming down to a tournament like that, they're probably not going to make those. So they pushed the tee pad back probably another like 200 feet behind the initial one through a very tight little gap. And I think the first day it played as like a par 6. The second day it played as a par 5. And on the third day, I think it played as a 4.9. And that's a very talented field of disc golfers out there. So that is a really, really hard hole. But I was able to take a par on it, which was really nice. I felt like I did a lot of good work to get that par. So very nice. Then finished with a bogey on 18 because it's hole 18 and that's what I do on that hole, I guess. But all in all, I beat everybody on my card and I moved up like 14 or 15 spots on the day into the cash line, which was, after showing up late for the first hole, I kind of thought my tournament was sunk, but that felt really good to kind of get back into the swing of things and play a good round of golf and just put myself back into something.
Yeah. Jaimen, how would you compare the MVP Volt to the West Side Bear?
So I would compare the Bear a little bit more to a trail, and it depends on the plastic.
Sure, right.
I've had Orbit Bears that are pretty overstable, like almost like T-Birds, and a lot of the VIP ones that I've had are straight to flippy after, 2 or 3 rounds of woods golf. So I found that my bear and my trail were very similar.
Gotcha.
They're 2 discs that, for whatever reason, like one day I wake up and I want to throw the bear, and one day I wake up and I want to throw the trail. But the bear is a little bit slower, but it's just so freaking glidey that it gets all the distance that the trail does.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Volt is much more overstable. It's like a Thunderbird, faster T-Bird kind of thing.
Anything interesting Saturday night?
Yeah, we had a super fun glow round on Saturday. The way they had like set up the tournament, it was like on Disc Golf Scene. It was a little misleading. Like one part of the tournament page said 2 rounds and the other one said a fun round on the Reds, insinuating that there was only 1 round. So it ended up being only 1 round. We signed up for tee times right next to each other and then just played a bunch of mob golf. It was an awful lot of fun, I thought.
It was chaotic, let's be honest. 8 people in the dark and everyone trying to like locate their discs. It turns out in the dark, Alex, it takes up like twice the amount of space in the dark. You just don't know he's there, and then like, he's just right on you. Because we're all looking with our heads down and our glow flashlights looking for our discs. And I feel like I ran into Alex like multiple times, or I'd go to throw and he was just like in front of me or something. But that round was really fun. We played it for tags too, so we were trying to throw good shots. Some of those holes though on the Reds compared to the glow they do after the MVP Open, which is like a temp course where the holes are all like under 200 feet, playing just straight up Reds. There's a few holes in the back 9 where there are a lot of trees and you have no clue like where they are. So it added a little spice to it.
Yep. Koch destroyed us.
Oh yeah. Koch won the whole thing at 9 down and he like couldn't miss a putt except for like one 8-footer, which was,
very
he was having too much fun. Yeah. But yeah, he crushed us. Me and Jaimen both shot 3 down with some healthy, bogeys because you can't see anything. And Koch just, crushed us.
All right. So Randy, you had probably the earlier tee off on Sunday?
Yeah. So with my just slightly bad round on day 2, I lost another 10 minutes of tee time. So I basically just moved back 1 tee time every day. So it was at like 10:20. Going into that round, I was really prepared for all the tee shots, but it was still pretty dang windy actually. Hole 1, hole 2, I took pars. I made good putts on them, so I was feeling really good about my putt again. Day 2 really like got in my head on what's going to happen putting. So I was happy to start off strong on that. Hole 3 is a hole I bogeyed the first 2 days. I was talking to Jaimen about it. Trying to throw something flippy on hole 2. If you don't know the hole, it's kind of a tighter tunnel, and the disc needs to move right, kind of late, and then swing back left if you were like trying to park it. I'd been throwing like a flippier fairway driver the first 2 days and hitting kind of early. Jaimen was saying, yeah, you really just need to take something more stable, force it over. And if it fades out a little early, it's, a better result. Did exactly what we were talking about. I give myself I'm like 2 steps outside of circle 2. Now at that point, I'm just thinking pure layup, no big deal. And I'm so confident with my layups. I put this thing nose up and floaty because there's kind of a drop off behind it, and I leave it 25 feet short, still into a headwind, and go on and just smash that putt into the left side chains, and it comes out. And I'm like, how did I bogey this hole after playing it infinitely better than the first 2 days? But got that out of my head, got through the front 9, and then 2 over. I somehow didn't make the island every time on hole 8, throwing very different looking shots, good looking shots, bad looking shots. Didn't matter. None of them stayed on land. None of them came up all the way short. Some of them always hit something on land and then just ended up in the water. So whatever. Then I get on to 10 and 11. Those holes, they favor a distance drive. And I just got a little unlucky. I felt like on those holes having funky upshots on both of them. And I bogeyed those for the first time on the weekend, which was weird, but kept it really clean for the rest of the round. Hole 17 is that tee shot through the little uprights. The boards are like 20 feet in front of you. It's maybe 5 feet wide. I put a nice one through there. I heard this is the play on Disc Golf Valley where you come up short off that tee, and then there's like a little backdoor window like short of the corner. And I landed in exactly that spot. So I was able to just chuck a forehand through like a gap in the woods. Apparently I hit the dirt right under the bucket, but it skipped to like 30 long. I got down there. I was feeling really good, and I just absolutely drained this putt. It was like my best putt of the round, just, uphill 30 feet. Got my first birdie that round and went on to 18. Just felt really confident with my round. Did my layup play on 18, took an absolute under the bucket tap in on 18, so I didn't have to putt in front of everybody. And walked away really happy with that round.
So you use Disc Golf Valley as strategy?
I didn't know this. I haven't played Disc Golf Valley since they updated it, but I did the backdoor play on the first round just because I had to. And somebody was like, that's exactly how you do it on Disc Golf Valley. And I was like, oh, cool. Turns out it can work. Throwing full power through that gap is really tough. I was more doing like a fairway, like a flippier fairway driver on like a smooth shot that I could actually like look where I was going versus just like sending one. Because if you hit those boards really hard, you're almost guaranteed a bogey or a double bogey.
Nice. So that was the MA1 division, which Dave Koch tied for second place with a guy named Carson, 2 strokes behind the winner, Seamus Collins.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I caddied for Koch that round. He played super well. He was making all of his putts, and he made him look effortless, which is really nice. I think Koch has a tendency to overcomplicate his putting, so seeing him just kind of relax a little bit and make those putts was really nice. And then in order to take that second place, he like kind of clutched up on hole 18 and 17 and just like really had some great golf. He went birdie on those 2 holes. 18 specifically, he had a phenomenal drive, but like I don't care where you land on 18, going for that green is a scary prospect. And so the lead card is right behind him, and they're kind of playing hole 17 and finishing up while we're kind of walking up to Koch's disc, and I'm like telling him like, oh, let's slow roll this, let's mark your disc, wipe your disc off, let's see if they put the scores in so you know what you have to do. And he's just like, no, I'm just gonna throw at it. And he threw like the perfect approach shot for like a 4-foot birdie putt. It was a really fun round to follow along with, and he fed me nerds clusters the entire time, so I was pretty happy.
Those are the best.
But they were pretty good. I was in a good mood.
Nice. And John J.P. Hefner Jr. III tied for 8th.
Yep. He had a super hot round too. I think he shot 3 under with a little bit of strife on the last few holes. I think he was like 5 under and then like messed up on 16, I think.
All right. So how was your Sunday, Jaimen?
My Sunday was great. While I was caddying for Koch on like hole 16, I was just kind of thinking through like what the rest of my day was like. I was like, oh shit, I haven't even started my round yet. Like, I caddied for him for like 3 hours, and then I still had to go out and play my own round. So I kind of like not really factored in how much of a hike Maple Hill is and how mentally taxing caddying for somebody can be. It's certainly not a round of disc golf, but I was engaged the entire time, so I wasn't not doing anything. I wasn't sitting on the couch watching YouTube videos like the day before, that's for sure. But I once again showed up to my tee time on time, was very happy with that. This was the exact opposite of Saturday, and I had a card full of people I have never played with, which almost never happens for me in New England. I feel like I'm always playing with 1 or 2 people I know. So it was really cool. One guy was from Colorado, another guy was from Philly, and the other guy was from Connecticut. I just kind of never played with him.
Alexander Kraus, Tony Hoffer, and Nathaniel Lindstrom.
Yeah, it was a super nice card, and just like 3 totally different styles of golf. Alex had a stupid far forehand, like forehanded everything. I like forehanded the drive on hole 1, like just like ridiculous stuff.
I did not.
No, Alex Kraus. You're right. You did not.
That was funny that Alex just showed up as you were talking about Alexander Kraus.
Yeah, he was like forehanding everything. Like I was talking to him on hole 3. I had some trouble on hole 3 and like took a bogey. And he's like, yeah, man, it's a hard drive. He's like, this is also the last time you'll see me throw a backhand drive this entire round. It's like, holy shit, this is going to be interesting. And it was super fun to watch him. I guess he was on tour for a little bit and just kind of didn't like the grind of it. So relaxed. He's like 10, 11 rated still, just kind of playing a couple events here and there. But watching him throw forehands and just can big putts all day was great. And then John was like 6'10" and could like throw a backhand farther than like almost anything I've ever seen. It was just absolutely impressive. He had a terrible start to the round. He took a triple OB9 on hole 1.
You talking Tony?
Oh, Tony. Yeah. I don't know why I call him John. I hope I didn't call him John during the round. He looks like a John. He like threw his drive and then threw his upshot almost into the pond past the white basket on hole 6, and then threw short of the Mando out of bounds, then through the Mando out of bounds, and then laid up and took his putt. So I had no idea what to expect at that point in the round. Like this guy might just totally tank everything, or just might kind of scuff along. But that was quite the interesting hole. There was a lot of rules discussion because of the Mando and all these kind of things. There's a couple questions that I think need to be clarified in the rules with different stuff. But my round was pretty good. I just played super kind of boring golf, and I avoided bogey for the most part. I think I ended up with I finished 6 over, so I had 4 bogeys and 1 double. And, like the whole, I doubled hole 9, after playing it pretty well, just got an OB stroke. And if you get an OB stroke, you're basically double bogeying in Maple Hill. There's not a lot of options.
That does not look like a commonly parred hole. I mean, just scrolling through a lot of 5s and 6s on there.
Yeah, it was a really frustrating one too, because like, I was playing with these guys that just have like probably 150 feet of distance on me. And like, that's a hole where you need a 400-foot woods shot uphill to get anywhere close for a birdie. And, I'm watching them do it. And so I'm like starting to lean more and more into my distance drivers and, just seeing like, I wonder if I can hang with these guys. If I try, I'm usually throwing kind of conservative shots. So that's one where I threw an absolutely beautiful shot, probably landed maybe between 50 and 80 feet behind the blue tee, which is the top of the hill, but like off to the left, still on the fairway, but like got a lot of tricky trees. So I throw my approach shot over the hill. So I'm on the other side, very easy approach shot to the green to take a 4, feeling really good about how I'm playing the hole. And I throw it and just like this huge crosswind comes in and smashes my disc into the ditch, which leaves me like a 30-foot bogey putt from across the stream that I missed and, took my double. So that's how it goes. It kind of happened pretty fast, but definitely kicking myself after that one. But after that, I just couldn't make my putts. Hole 13, day 2 and 3, I had like probably 20, 25-foot putts for birdie, which is, I think, a super, really, really good way to play that hole. Getting 2 drives down that, especially with the wind, was not the easiest thing. So it was very frustrating that I was able to navigate like the first 430 feet of the hole and then couldn't make the 20-foot putt. But that's how it goes. Yeah, just kind of bumped along, took a couple bogeys. I bogeyed 17 and 18 to finish my round. Kept me in the cash, but certainly that round specifically left me with a really big to-do list of things that I could really improve on. Playing with 2 guys with like skill sets so clearly better than mine. They just had opportunities that I would, with the way I've been playing lately and with my current skill set, I just don't have those opportunities. But I think I can get them. It was really nice to go out there for that whole tournament and see so many different places that I can grow as a player.
I'm looking at it. 2 of the 3 rounds you shot over your rating, and then the first round you take off 4 strokes and you're probably close to, if not better than your rating also.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like you said, you can learn a lot from it, but you can also be pretty happy with, because the other thing I noticed is one person shot under par for the entire tournament.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What was his name?
Yeah, Simon
It was
Lazat.
Simon.
And the next best score is +5. And that's in any division, including the divisions that played the quote unquote easier layout. So it seems to me like this was a rough weekend for everybody.
Was that Landon Brooks?
Yep. He's also like 13.
I bought a wave from him at the expo. Very nice kid.
Oh yeah, super nice guy. He's a multi-time juniors world champion.
He's also team MVP.
Team MVP.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was at the Disc East Expo selling discs with stamps, his custom stamps.
Nice.
Yeah, he's real good.
Of course, Alex would know all about those MVP guys.
I actually met him for the first time when I was playing MVP Amside.
Nice.
About, I want to say 2019 or 18, somewhere around there.
Was that all about your round, Jaimen?
Yeah, that was everything. I'm looking forward to, working on my putting. Throughout that tournament, I definitely could have shaved 5 or 6 strokes off. Not like making bigger putts, just making like putts that I should make every time, getting into that 20-foot range. Like I really was not putting well. But yeah, no, it's like I said, I've got a lot of things to work on and I'm super excited to do it.
Makes me really want to get out there and practice. A guy shoots a 1,008 round and he's like, I need to practice putting. I'm like, oh, damn. Alex, can you give us a mildly abbreviated version of your weekend?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much. The weather on the first day was not great. I hadn't realized just how foggy it was until I actually got there. But yeah, when I stepped up to the first tee, no one could see across the pond. We were just counting on the spotter to, tell us if we were in bounds, and hopefully he got a better look at things than we did because we had absolutely nothing. So that was sort of the story of the first round where, I've kind of adopted a little bit of a style where I'm picking a point in the distance and really trying to hit that point. And when you can't see into the distance, that really throws off your rhythm. So I struggled for a bit. Had a couple of good birdies early on. Took a 6 on 8. Took a triple bogey on 13. Took a quintuple bogey on 18. Really just playing super under where I expected to be. So that was pretty frustrating. Being plus 15 going into round 2 meant I was going really early, which meant I was going to get hit by rain again. Played poorly again, but not quite as badly at least. But then round 3 happened, and it was sunny, and there were no backups, and I played pretty dang calm the entire time, and I shot plus 3. So feeling like it was really a case of, if I could stay out of the rain and stay in some sort of rhythm without backups and things like that, I could shoot pretty well. So pretty disappointed in how I played in rounds 1 and 2, but definitely feeling like, there's at least some proof that I can play competently by that 3rd round.
What about points?
Points, about 280 points is the preliminary setup there, which is, less than I'd like to get. We had 80 people there playing MA1, which means there's like 800 points available. Would have really liked to hit that halfway mark, get 400 points or so. But, being able to salvage 280 after, being like 60th or 65th or something like that after the first rounds is not too bad.
Thank you. And what about when you're playing glow golf, being a little more smaller? Is that possible? Randy was mentioning how he kept bumping into you.
Yeah. Well, there's also the element of, not drinking a bunch before you go there. That's
I was just going to ask, was that helpful because there was a lot of Alex margaritas?
Margaritas were Friday night. That was that night. But it was a super fun time playing golf. But one of the things that I tend to do is I tend to tunnel vision on what I'm doing. And when there's 8 people that you can't actually see, you can't really tunnel vision on one thing because you're going to walk in front of somebody. So that's definitely something I need to work on.
And Randy's a little guy, so I understand that.
I was just scared out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of discs coming out of places you don't expect when it's glow golf. So being scared out there makes sense.
All right. So like I mentioned, Silent Lazat won the MPO division, and I already mentioned about Dave Koch. So okay.
Yeah. JP also took 8th or tied 8th.
We mentioned that.
I'm sure you went through things already.
No, it's good. Hey, it's better to say it twice than not say it at all. So
true.
Bro comes in late and then thinks all of a sudden we forgot what we're doing here. What are we even doing here?
Mm-hmm. He's like, what are they going to do without the links to the tournaments? They'll never find it without me.
I did have to try to find, when we were talking about Jaimen's round, I did have to find it myself. Jeez.
Did you guys talk about Mighty Gaw already, I assume?
Yeah.
All right, I can't wait to listen to that one.
I think the shoe thing is just going to have a better life in recurring jokeisms. I mean, because it's, it's still a good story.
It's going to be on the checklist of first thing you talk about when you get to the course is, did you have both shoes?
Mm-hmm.
The matching pair.
Yeah, the matching pair of correct shoes.
And Evan's like, I will never hear about going to the wrong hole ever again. At least not from Corey.
Things move on.
Their white shoes to the water.
Evan goes for no shoes. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have matching shoes, you might as well go barefoot at that point. just claim a religious exemption or something.
Kisco Tuesday dubs, Blaze Seedman and Mitchell Pipes won that at -5. Wilcox Tuesday dubs, Steve Hanrahan and John J.P. Hafner Jr. III shot -12. DisCap Women's League at Stony Kill, Kat Cha-Cha and Caitlin Clay won that at -2. Corey, so how did J-Dub's Points Championship Week 8 go?
Hang on one second.
I'll give you a hint, you won.
Oh, yes. Damn, I'm really having a hard time. Remember? Oh, we played J North. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember.
So you did play J North. Okay. I wasn't sure with the weather.
Yeah, okay, it's all coming back to me now. Yeah, we we got to the park and realized that hole 1 is still underwater. It's legit. Hole 1 is underwater.
I've seen some pictures, yeah.
Afterwards, I'm like, shit, I forgot to check the lost and found. You ain't getting to the lost and found unless you got a John boat.
What about the bathrooms? Are they accessible when the water's like that?
Funny you mentioned that. The bathrooms are accessible. However, I wish Jason was here to talk about it, but he went in there and he mentioned about how the water in the toilet was high because I think everything was so flooded, and how he would do a better job explaining it. But it all made sense from an engineer standpoint about with the water situation, how they built the bathroom and the leach field or whatever. It could have been easy to flood the toilet, I guess. But Lake Geralaman was here and there for a couple weeks. So yeah, I made a late audible to switch to J West because the weather was looking iffy, and then I got down there and saw how park was flooded in a lot of areas. So I ran out to check the bridge you cross over the stream after the mystery kill hole from hole 20 to 29. That stream is pretty shallow, at least like the stream bed where the bridge goes over it. So when we get a lot of rain, it's really easy for the water to go over the bridge. And it was like at its limit as far as crossability. Like there was water flowing over the bridge, but if you walked quickly and safely, you could cross it. So yeah, decided to switch back to the J North layout, and it didn't rain at all. I think the bugs were out a little bit. But yeah, me and Danny Parton were just popping off. We were really ham-and-egging it. I had some really good throws, which was kind of disappointing how I played this weekend after coming off such a high. But it felt good to play well at J Park. And we actually had a weird situation where we had an odd number of players, and the Cali player was from the A pool because we actually had more A pool players than B pool players. I think we had 13 people, so I think we had 7 A pool players and 6 B pool players.
I don't really have a problem with A pool being Cali, but would you ever let like a Justin be Cali?
Let or allow?
Either.
Allow, yes. Let, no. Because he's been begging for it for like 2 years. Actually,
So you're saying if there were 5 of you and you just did a disc flip and whoever was the odd man out, if that was Justin, you'd be fine with it, but you're not going to say straight up you're Cali. Is that kind of what you mean?
yeah, I have made some, when I do my picks and I use my team generator app, if someone gets picked Cali that I feel like maybe I should ask if they actually want to play Cali, I will. Like if it's a woman or someone that has like that is not that skilled of a player, I'm like, hey, do you actually want to do this, or should we let somebody else? I don't want to like absolutely ruin someone's day by forcing them to play Cali when, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason played Cali, and I carried over like 8 pool Cali rules. So you do get the extra shot in a par 4, and you only get 1 extra shot in a par 5 as well. But as an 8 pool player, you have to take the Cali shot. There's no choosing between the two, which Jason will tell you he felt like he was getting screwed on. The only time he had like birdies or like good holes is when he didn't use his Calis, and when he used his Calis, he was getting kind of screwed. Also, the park was flooded, there was water high in some other areas. So like hole 18 next to the swamp, the water was higher than the OB. So I'm just like, hey, the water's OB. If the water's higher than the stakes, which I think did we talk about that verbiage, water being higher than the stakes and what that actually means?
That came up before.
Yeah.
On the show in the past, and then Justin mentioned it, I think, was it the next night at Pro League?
Yeah, he used the same thing. Yeah, because Tuesday, I mean, it's like the best way to say it. Like, we all know where the stakes are. If the water's higher than the stakes, you can't really use the stakes. So you're going to call it casual or some like penalty-free relief area. I'm not doing that bullshit. The water is the OB line if it's higher than the stakes. It's stubs, not that serious. So that also came into play on hole 21, which is the whale tail hole, downhill to the left. The hole previous to that is the little valley shot. And that hole gets flooded pretty too. So Jason threw a great shot that on any other day probably would have been inside the circle, like a 25-foot putt, but he skipped into the water. And I think I also threw OB on the drive. So, and anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, played J North. Me and Danny won. And that was the last time until the second half of the season. Then we're starting at 5, so we're switching to 5:15, hoping that makes it a little easier for people to get there. And at this point, it's after the fact, and also a little precursor. For Muccelli's league, we played like a modified layout, which has been referred to as J Snorf.
AKA J Central.
AKA J Central, AKA J Middle. That kind of, it's a pretty good layout for when the park gets flooded. And it kind of picks from the J South and the J North and the J West layouts, I guess. But
all right. Jaimen, you had a handicap league at CTK. How'd that go?
That went pretty good. I think we had 7 people out there. I was on owl duty. There ended up being an owl like in the middle of one of the fairways. So I was like contacting like vets and that kind of stuff, seeing if there's anything I should be doing. But I do not remember the winners off the top of my head. I was actually just thinking I need to post a...
Joseph Polsoni looks like one.
Oh, Joe Polsoni won. Good job, Joe. Joe's been doing great versus his handicap lately. He's certainly been improving. But yeah, it was a good time. Everybody finished, which we had a card of 4, which can kind of be tricky this time of year, but everything worked out pretty well.
What do you think so far of the UDisc app and their the handicap feature?
It's been working. I like it. I know some other people are like not a huge fan of it, but I don't really see any downsides to it. The only thing that I haven't figured out what the hell's going on with it. It's just like randomly it'll not give somebody a handicap. It's like I had 2 guys there last week that just didn't get handicaps at all. One of them like had a ton of UDisc rounds, and one of them hadn't played in like a year. So the one that hadn't played in like a year, I understood, but the one who plays all the time didn't make a lot of sense. So I just, used my own equation and used like 4 of their CTK blue rounds and averaged it out and multiplied it by 90%. That's always how I figured out handicaps. And that came up with one that was pretty consistent, I think, with what everybody else's were. And it worked out pretty well. It landed him in 2nd place, I think. That was Charles Gordon.
Junior the 3rd. Yeah, Cranky complained. He said he finds the feature a bit limited as it limits your handicap to 5 rounds.
Yeah. So in other words, it limits your handicap to your recent performances, which I would argue is what your handicap should be.
I don't disagree. My other feeling is whenever they add a new feature, the best thing to do, I would think, especially with a disc golf app, is to use it and then send feedback, and say, hey,
absolutely.
Maybe do this, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think the fact that they added it is a good thing. So their goal is to improve it. So,
Yeah, no, I think, that's something that I'm no programmer or anything, but that might be a pretty simple drop-down menu to throw in there that says, how many rounds do you want it to pull from?
Well, apparently you don't need to be a programmer according to that JVD guy. Just start using Chat GPT or whatever to code and such. So the other question I had for you, Jaimen, what is Battenkill Chocolate Milk?
Oh, it's a farm up in Salem, New York, which is probably 25 minutes away from CTK, Battenkill Valley Farms. It's a dairy farm. They have a bunch of milk and like half and half and chocolate milk available in stores around here. And their chocolate milk is just like extra good. The fun thing for Battenkill for me is my mom lives out near it. So if you drive by the farm, they've got like 100 barn cats. So whenever Taylor and I drive by it, we slow down and try to count as many cats as we possibly can.
What does it smell like when you drive by?
It smells like a cow, Corey.
Oh,
City slicker.
wait. What did you say? There's a bunch of barn what?
Cats.
Okay, so I was just curious. Maybe it smelled like cat piss as you're driving through.
No, it just smells like cows.
Smell.
Yeah.
So basically, the Battenkill Open is going to be the big tournament for CTK. What went into the naming?
I don't know. I like this name. The Battenkill River is a huge, huge part of this area. The name Whipple City for the tournament was originally just chosen by a naming contest. And if you saw some of the other names in that naming contest, it was not too much to choose from, I'll say.
Disky McTournament was one of them?
No, like I think Jeff suggested the Jesus Jammer. Like that kind of stuff.
It's kind of a good name. I do kind of like it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use it, but like in like a brainstorming session, I kind of like where it.
I just thought of something. I dare the new CTK New York Team Challenge team to be the Batten Killers.
Oh.
I think there was a rule against that.
That's boring.
Yeah, that's one of my original suggestions for the Mind Kill team was Mighty Killers. So
yeah, way back when we were initially doing teams and stuff, I think the rule was none of the team names could be based off disc captains or Stony Killers, just because they wanted to see new stuff.
Sounds like people from the disc captains and Stony Killers made up that rule, but
I mean that was the people who were doing the thing. So
that's a fair point. I would be the Country Club Killers, but
I mean, that's like half of the league right now.
So. It's actually a great name, actually. I kind of like that one.
So when is this tournament?
This tournament is July 5th and 6th. It's the same thing I did a couple of years ago with Pro and MA2 playing on Saturday, and then MA1 and MA3 playing on Sunday. Pro Masters is Saturday and AM Masters is Sunday. The reason I do it that way is so that everybody has a chance to play up a division if they want to play both days. So, if you're in MA3, you can play MA2 on Saturday and MA3 on Sunday. I feel like a lot of people are interested in improving at disc golf, and a great way to do that is to play in the division above yourself. And, a lot of times that comes at the cost of not playing in your own division and competing. So doing it this way gives people a chance to test those waters without losing the chance to compete in their own division. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to plan some other stuff for in between on Saturday, but we'll see what happens. It's CTK. It's been in great shape lately, and I'm just excited to, have a nice, easy time making that course the best it can be for that tournament this year.
Nice. Jason had a rules question. He's not here. He has a sore throat. So pretend I'm Jason. Corey's playing the 2025 Battle of Saratoga at Heiser Creek, and he tees off on hole 16. His upshot gets super lucky and hits 5 trees, each of which pushes the disc farther down the fairway. When he arrives at his disc, he's looking at a 28-foot putt for eagle. In an attempt to impress Brian Bickersmith and Justin Muccelli, Corey decides he's going to run the eagle putt. As Corey steps up to his putt, he realizes he is again wearing 2 right shoes. He asks his card mates if someone will swap shoes with him, but surprisingly, no one wants to help. Realizing he's on his own, he decides to give it his best shot. Despite his best effort, Corey cages the putt and it lands in the water. Prior to the disc touching the basket, however, Corey's goofy footing caused him to step on the disc when he released his putt. No one, including Corey, saw him step on the disc, but Bill Newman mysteriously appeared from behind a pine tree and called him on the footfall. Bill is a PDGA marshal at this event and has been spying on Corey the entire round. What is Corey's penalty and where does he take his next shot from?
Damn, what a scenario.
Okay.
That's exactly how I always see Bill Newman in coverage. I feel like he's always just like, oh shit, there he is. He's like comes out like from a group of people.
It is very funny that he suddenly appears being that he's like 6'8".
That too.
So I had this scenario happen at Worlds a couple of years ago, almost identical. So I'll let everybody else talk about it first, but I think I know the answer.
Sounds like I got assessed 1 stroke for the footfall. Based on what I've learned from the Kristen Lott issues, I realized that, well, I know for a fact now that the PGA Marshal is like solid. So that's 1 stroke there. Plus I hit the cage when OB, so that's another OB stroke. And I'm going to tap in whatever I'm tapping in for. So yeah, I was running for eagle. So then OB, I'd be putting for par. I think a bogey. There.
Can you look in the question, Pat? Did he say hole 17? Or 16?
16.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because if he got all the way down the fairway in his drive, he's putting for an albatross.
I think he said I was putting
No,
for
he
eagle.
specifically said he got lucky on his second throw.
Oh, okay. I'm not listening at all. Never mind.
But also, if you said that
There was a lot to that question.
if I have a chance
Okay.
to eagle 17, what kind of shot is that? Does Simon Lozano
Well, it sounds like yeah, that's fair. All right.
So Corey thinks it's putting for bogey. Does anybody other than Jaimen, does anybody else have a differing opinion?
No, I'm not sure. I just want to hear it.
Corey didn't say that you have to get very close to the rule official's face and yell at them in order to attempt to change the outcome.
Yeah, you got to step right up to their face and then tell them to step back.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not doing that to Bill Newman.
Have you factored in the 3-month suspension then?
Oh,
True, that is important too. I think he still gets to finish the round before before that assessment happens.
And fly back from Europe.
I don't know anything you guys are talking about, but does anybody else have an opinion with Jaimen holding off? A differing opinion?
No, I think I agree with Corey, unfortunately.
Yeah, that seems right. Yeah, there was a lot to that question, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but it seems right.
What do you got, Jaimen?
So Corey is penalized for the foot fault, and that's it. And then he rethrows, essentially. You can't be double penalized, which is why you can mark your disc from OB and then take it back as far as you want.
Okay, I was thinking about the double penalization thing, but in this case, you're basically getting a free practice throw, or if it was a footfall that didn't go OB, you play the result of the throw.
No, I think you rethrow with the penalty.
I'm saying if the disc didn't go OB.
It still doesn't matter. And once you footfall, I think you rethrow.
No, if you footfall, you accept the result of the throw plus a penalty stroke for the footfall. That I'm very confident on.
All right.
They changed it because people were purposely foot faulting.
Oh, yeah, that was the old foot fault rule. That was like the whole Paige Pierce thing, too, wasn't it? Like one of the last...
They'd be like, oh, no, I foot faulted after they like shanked a shot and like slide their foot across the disc.
Or like Barry Schultz and Scott Stokely just calling each other back and forth. That type of thing.
So 2 years ago at Worlds, this almost identical situation happened. On hole 2, we had a guy throw out of bounds, and he threw out of bounds because he slipped on his disc. And we had a marshal with us, and he goes, all right, so you got a penalty on your foot, so you're going to play where you went out of bounds, and you're going to take the penalty. And one of the guys on our card was like, no, you can't be double penalized. So we played the hole out and dealt with it. I guess I don't remember the exact outcome, but the answer is you can't be double penalized. So maybe the fault didn't count because he went out of bounds. Maybe that's the way it was played. But yeah, that essentially is you can only be penalized for one of those things. So he might have just taken the out of bounds and thrown from it. I don't remember exactly the outcome of that hole specifically, but that is what happened one way or the other. Either he rethrew from the disc with 1 penalty or he threw from the out of bounds with 1 penalty. But if Jason's asking this question, I'm assuming it's because there's a rule change this year. So I don't know the answer.
Well, Jason did give me an answer, and I'll read that in a moment.
Oh, thank God. I thought we were going to have a cliffhanger.
Well, there still may be one because what you guys are saying makes absolute sense. But Jason says since penalties don't stack, the 1-stroke penalty for the footfall is the same as the OB penalty. So he plays it with just a 1-stroke penalty. He can mark his lie where it was last in bounds and tap in for par. But I totally understand what you guys are talking about with the footfall thing because, I mean, it seems like not very many holes this could apply to, but it sounds like the water's close enough to the basket where, like you said, it's a tap in. So we'll double check with Jason next week, but that's what he has.
I mean, I did the double penalty thing. I mean, Google AI overview is pulling it from somewhere, which I should be able to see the source somewhere if I get this. It does mention exactly that if a throw violates multiple rules, the penalty is determined by the rule that results in the most penalty throws or the force flow violated, that the penalties are equal.
That part I totally get. I know that if you have a penalty, they don't stack. It's not last in, first out, Alex, or first in, last out. But that does make sense what Randy's saying as far as you could just say you foot faulted. I mean, you do still need a second, right? Assuming a 4-person card, you would need a second person to verify that.
Yeah, but in this case, you don't because it's a rules official. So
Yeah.
I understand the double penalization thing. I think it's good for certain things, but I guess the foot fault is weird where you're just like not being punished for a mistake that you would be punished for in another scenario.
Yeah, like what if I don't know, some like extreme case, like I don't know.
Like you say a bunch of swears in front of children and someone tries to call it, a courtesy violation on you, but you also foot fault. Yeah. So it's just like, those swears were fine.
That's a non-playing penalty.
I get it. I need a better example.
All right, so here's one. The guy who threw out of bounds 3 times on hole 1 at Maple Hill also technically missed the Mando on 2 of those out of bounds throws.
Yeah, okay, so that's an example where I think the double penalization thing is fair because the throw went in the wrong direction. That was the mistake you made, and you're being like punished for it.
So you think he should be doubly penalized for that?
No. I'm saying that's a good example of you can't be double penalized.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like you did one error, you're being punished once. Like, because depending on where a Mando is on a certain course, missing the Mando could guarantee out of bounds.
I mean, once you miss the Mando, you've already missed the Mando.
Yeah.
Here's a scenario where I had a double penalty. It wasn't me, but I was on card with somebody at Wild West, and we knew that he threw out of bounds, but we couldn't find his disc. So is it OB from where we saw reasonably where it crossed, or is it a lost disc rethrow from where he was?
Have you ever found a disc in the middle of a lake?
Not recently.
No, but you know where it went out of bounds, though, right?
No, and I learned the rule that day, but before that had never come up. We didn't know how to play it, so I think we did maybe a provisional and then figured it out.
Yeah. And it's all good stuff to talk about.
I actually think I have an answer, though. I went to the PDGA Q&A, and there's a Q&A OB6. A player in my group foot faulted and was called on it and seconded. Their throw went OB. Do they get a warning, a penalty, or 2 penalties? And it says a player's first stance violation results in a penalty throw. In this case, there were multiple violations. Normally, the first violation to occur is the one that counts. In this case, that's the foot fault, though it doesn't really matter as it's 1 penalty throw either way. There's no rethrow, so the disc is played as OB. Since a player cannot receive penalty throws for multiple violations on a single throw, there's just 1 penalty throw.
Okay, so
okay.
I get it. I just don't like it because like you made 2 separate mistakes, so you're just getting away with.
Although
one.
in the scenario where like you slip on your disc and that caused you to throw OB, not just because like you would have grip locked it normally.
Yeah, that's what happened. Is he stepped on his disc and slipped and pulled it to the right and went out of bounds because of it. I think what it boils down to at the end of the day is that there's just too many different scenarios to not have something broad.
Yeah.
You're still going from potential eagle to par. But I don't know. What I do know is Tyler Ferrati shot a -16 at Port Jervis Disc Golf Course Spring Summer League. They had 18 people on Wednesday. That's what I know.
Ooh.
Nice.
I think maybe skip ace next week.
Yeah. Sure.
The DGPT Cascade Challenge, is that something that we want to keep? I'm looking. I got Gannon Burr, Richard Wysocki. Yeah, that's a regular tournament. So, were there any ones that we need to eliminate that are coming up anytime soon, or can that wait?
Maybe some of the European ones. I don't know if everybody's going over.
Okay, but nothing coming up. You're talking about like the Kanapishte Open, May 23rd?
That's not the one that made me think of it because I was just getting ahead a few weeks. Like the Ale Open didn't have a ton of people in it.
Oh, that's not till June, so we can talk about it. But was there anything we needed to add? That was the other question. Is there anything in the next week or so that we need to add that anybody can think of?
No.
If there is, let me know. And then next week we'll go through, I'll try to get a list of things that we can add or subtract. Alex or Randy, did either of you guys play Stony Kill Random Dubs week 7 this week?
I did. It was pretty fun. Brett Reesing and Steve Tiska won a 2-hole playoff at -12.
They beat Eric Fitz and Kevin Gordon.
Yeah, classic Stony Killers. Brett's on the list of potential Stony Kill recruits for sure.
What about Regeneron Wednesday doubles, Randy?
Oh, yeah. So we had our first outing at Colonial. We wanted to start on a course that was super beginner friendly. We actually had a few new people show up, so I got to give away some of our custom discs. The weather ended up being good for the round, but it like didn't look good all day. So I think we had 8, 7. We had an odd number. Are you looking at the results, Pat?
8's not an odd number, Randy.
I know. That's why I'm now not remembering. I'm going to say 7. I think we had 7 people show up.
That is an odd number.
I only copy who won. I used to do top 3, and then I realized, it's fucking weekly dubs. We don't need top 3, Pat.
Yeah, this was exclusive to Regeneron employees, except we did have a random guy show up who saw it on Disc Golf Scene. So we let him play with us. No big deal. The course was extremely soggy, almost the whole thing, like you were squishing around. But, we did one loop on the reds and then one on the whites. It was a nail biter near the end. I think I might have been down a stroke going into the second last hole, which has a pond wrapping the right and then right in front of the basket. And the two other guys, Robbie Hendricks and Ryan Karp, they both threw pretty good looking tee shots. Karp is left-handed, so his was hyzering toward the water, and he threw it really powerful. And his partner was like, "Ooh, nice and safe too." And I'm like, that is not safe. Like the water's right there. And they were both dumbfounded, even though we had already played this hole on the shorter tee. And we walk up and both of their shots were in the water.
Oh, no.
So good for me. And we were able to kind of just walk away from that one. And now I can't remember if we won or if we tied.
I have a tie here.
Yes. Yeah, I think we did tie.
-7.
And we didn't play off because we were all kind of wet and cold and got on out of there. So, but it was fun.
So that's Regeneron Wednesday doubles, which is exclusively for Regeneron employees, unless you just happen to see it on the UDisc app and just show up and you could play. So
2.5 years ago, I saw it on UDisc when I was a brand new player and messaged Randy Bemis, which is the first time I ever messaged Randy and asked if I could go. And I think he assumed I was an employee. He was like, "Yeah, it's open to anybody." And I played and Randy wasn't even there.
Whoops.
Oh, you were the random person?
2.5 years ago, I did the same thing as whoever did it this time.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we always let people play. There's no money. It's free. But we also kind of want to, I'm giving away swag, which I'm not allowed to give away to non-employees. So, not trying to have them around and have me mess up. But I did kind of make a +1 rule this year to get the numbers up for just people playing. So if you know a Regeneron employee and they don't play disc golf, make them play disc golf and drag them to it.
So if you hear this and you see it on UDisc, just say you know Randy, because everybody knows Randy.
Very small company.
Shen Creek Dubs week 6 was also on Wednesday. Michael Fair and Justin Metis shot a -11 to win there. Time for a quiz?
Yep.
I think it is.
We got 5. We're going to do 3 and 2, or does somebody want to go Wolf?
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
3 and 2 sounds like the plan.
I think that's what's happening.
All right. Corey doesn't like making teams.
I'm going to go get a beer and be surprised when I come back to see what you guys come up with.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Jaimen? Because he wasn't here last week, just while I'm thinking about it. Oh, actually, there was, with disc or no disc. So, Jaimen, we talked about it last week. Our example was, the answer was chief.
Oh, yeah.
If the answer is war chief and they say chief, I would say be more specific. And you agreed with that, right? If the answer is war chief and they say chief, you would agree that I should say be more specific, right?
Yes. Yeah. I can see it both ways, at least in how it affects stuff. If you don't do that and you say that is incorrect, what do you think? The other teams, there's no way they're going to choose chief. So it's just a wash at that point. So it wouldn't affect anything negatively, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's flip it around. And the answer is chief and they say war chief. What are your thoughts there?
I would say, can you be more specific?
You would still say, I'm just thinking because they added extra. Like in the one example, the answer's war chief, they say chief. What kind of chief? What can you be more specific? When they say war chief? And the answer is chief.
Can you be more generic?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, and I'm cool either way. I just wanted to clarify your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
You would still say be more specific is what you're saying, or be less specific.
I would probably just give it to him because, like, I feel like be less specific would be almost too simple. You know what I mean?
It's too obvious.
Like descriptors. I've said that before. Descriptors are less important to me. And war chief, war would be a descriptor. Of course, any chief is a war chief. You know what I mean? If they go to war, you're still the chief.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, there's other examples of that. It's like green, you know. Now, if the answer was Green Lantern, you said lantern, that I'd have a little beef with, mostly, you know. Just because you don't know what Green Lantern is, you're an idiot. But
shit.
No, I'm teasing. Okay, I just wanted to check. It's good to get outside opinions, especially from somebody who's not involved in the actual scenario. And Corey's back, and we still haven't come up with teams. I'm just saying.
I'm waiting.
I think the Shoe Boys need to be a team on some level.
Ooh.
That's a good team.
All right, who else has had a shoe-related issue in a tournament round?
Nope.
Other than me and Evan.
That's it.
Oh. All right, deal.
Oh, you want? Oh, that's what you meant.
You can borrow one of my shoes, Corey. Which one do you need?
I have a feeling
what size
that
are
you wear a much smaller shoe than I do, just based on your height.
Much smaller? What size shoe do you wear, Corey?
11 and a half.
Oh, yeah, that's much smaller than my 10 and a half.
That's what I could squeeze into. You and Nick Terlavaro could share shoes.
Awesome. I'll write that down. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you were here for the beginning.
Corey and Evan, the Shoe Boys, versus Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, the Shoe Men. Now,
Also, I would also be remiss, since this is our team name, if I didn't say that I go on YouTube and you should search for the Shoe Body Bop sped up version.
Oh my God, that's.
Oh, do any of you know that video?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what that reference is.
I thought we were going for a Hanson Mbop thing for a second.
No, it's pretty catchy. Don't listen to it.
I've spent rounds singing Shoe Body Doo.
I'll refrain from singing, but it's stuck in my head now. Thank you. It's just like Dirt Man.
All right, so Shoe Boys. We got 3 categories of trivia. You know the rules for disc or no disc. What did Randy message us?
Sorry, I just listened to that while you guys
body.
are talking. It's insane. I love it.
So good.
Real quick, Jaimen, have you seen the video that's the precursor to this?
I saw another one by them. I don't know if it came before or
It's like
after.
in the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I stumbled upon it at some point too. I think it's the precursor to this, but some people might know what we're talking about. Most people won't.
Yeah, I'm all about those like terrible little earworms that have been like floating around
Actually,
Instagram.
I did force the Airbnb for what was the last thing I just did? Welcome to the Jungle. We watched this on YouTube while we were in the Airbnb. I forced them all to do it.
I could see everybody like warming up and doing that little shimmy thing.
Yeah.
All right, Shoe Boys. We got 3 categories of trivia. You know the rules: disc or no disc. Answer the trivia question. If you get it right, you can tell me for bonus point whether or not it is a legal PDGA disc or not. What category would you like? Category 1, 2, or 3?
Were we not partners last time, Evan?
Last time, it was me and Randy versus you and Alex.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There was a theme there, wasn't there?
New guys versus old guys?
Yeah, because I had recently aced, and I saw Randy ace in person, so I grabbed Randy.
Right.
Yep.
You let me pick.
So, why don't you pick the category too?
Number 3, Pat.
All right. Question 1, category 3. Massachusetts state tree is the American species of what tree that can grow 100 feet tall? Massachusetts' state tree is the American species of what tree that can grow 100 feet tall?
Wish I had Randy this week.
Yeah, 100-foot tall trees. Are we talking like oaks?
I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was elm, but I'm not like
An arborist?
a tree guy.
He's not a tree guy. He's a shoe boy.
Yeah. Shoe body do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a Massachusetts. Anything's gonna be a random guess of a tree. You want to go maple? You
Yeah.
want to go oak? You want to go?
I mean, like I said, elm popped in my head for some reason. I can't say why, but
Yeah, let's go with
it
elm.
seems like a good choice.
Yeah, sure. Elm.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Is the elm a disc?
Nice.
Nice. Okay. Core memory unlocked for Evan. I mean, if it's good enough for Massachusetts, it's got to be good enough for some disc manufacturer, right? I say yes.
I agree.
Above ground level, April 28th, 2025.
It's pretty new.
I thought we were getting a steal right on question 1.
All right. Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, would you like category 1, category 2, or category 3?
I don't know.
Which category do they take? 2?
3.
3. I vote 2. Let's get
Let's
one
do
right
2.
out of here.
Let's get it.
All right. Question 1, category 2. An anvil, rocket skates, and a do-it-yourself tornado kit are items Wile E. Coyote has bought from what corporation? An anvil, rocket skates, and do-it-yourself tornado kit are items Wile E. Coyote has bought from what corporation?
It's Acme,
Acme,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is the Acme a disc?
They're a real company. Do we
Are
think
they?
they made a disc?
Acme's a company?
Yes.
Oh, you mean like, I understand. I thought you meant like they're a real disc golf company.
No. They're a company. Like it's not made up for the cartoon. Do we think they made a disc?
I don't think they made a disc, but I kind of feel...
I'm feeling like yes, because if the Looney Tunes is parodying it, then it's not like a protected trademark or something like that. So I feel like someone would go for it.
I like where your head's at. Oh man,
That's more reasoning than I have.
I don't like it as a disc name though. It's not like it's not great.
That's my only reasoning. It's like,
I mean, yes, like if you get an Acme disc, you expect it to fall apart halfway through the air.
Yeah, you pick it up and an anvil lands on your head.
Yeah.
could it be
Exactly.
like a iDog or something? Like just a different language that happens to make sense in ours?
Oh yeah.
Definitely possible.
Does it smell like iDog in here? Sorry,
What's iDog?
it's a disc. Maybe you'll use it someday.
I thought you were going to
Not
say
much. What's up
nothing.
with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, damn it! I got got. So we're going yes.
I think yes, but if you're really feeling no, I wouldn't be super opposed to it.
Yeah, I still don't like it.
I don't like it either. All right, we go no, and then he says Acme Disc Sports.
Yeah, and then Alex can lord over us forever.
Yeah, always do.
I don't say this much on the disc part, but 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. No.
I say no.
It is 2-1, so I am going with you guys.
All right, we're going no.
You are correct.
Yay.
Good call. Good call.
All right. Shoe Boys, category 2 or category 3?
Based on the questions, I would pick 2.
Yeah, let's do it. I was feeling the same way.
All right. Question 2, category 2. In the Resident Evil video game and movie series, what is the name of the powerful pharmaceutical corporation responsible for creating the T-virus? In the Resident Evil video game and movie series, what is the name of the powerful pharmaceutical corporation responsible for creating the T-virus?
Is that Umbrella too?
It is.
Umbrella Pat.
Is the umbrella a disc?
I could see it, but it's weird.
My problem is I've seen too many umbrellas on disc because of player packs for April showers, so I don't even know what to...
Right, all of those discs are umbrellas.
Yeah, what is reality? I don't know. But with umbrellas being ubiquitous in disc golf, I would say yes. I also hope that I used the word ubiquitous in the right...
Yeah, I think that was good. You nailed it. I don't love it, and I will go along with you and say yes.
Okay, sweet. Yes.
You guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay.
No worries.
All right. Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or 3?
Let's do another one in 2.
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. Question 3, category 2. Adam Scott's work-life balance cuts 2 very distinct ways on the Apple TV Plus drama Severance as an employee of what company? Adam Scott's work-life balance cuts 2 very distinctive ways on the Apple TV Plus drama Severance as an employee of what company?
None of us have seen Severance.
No, I've been meaning to watch it. Oh my god. It is like, oh no, this is terrible.
I don't know. I got no clue.
None of them have seen Severance or listened to the interview with Andrew Chamberlain.
I know.
Tim Goyette would know
I know that I can picture the shirt that he made, and I don't have one yet, and I now can't remember what it said on it.
Did it say something global?
Yeah, it's like global something management.
Global Corp?
But, oh, no. But the company's, I got it. It's Lumen. I don't know why it just popped into my head, but the company is called Lumen.
I am with you on that.
You guys agree?
I do.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Is the Lumen a disc?
Bro is Googling answers.
No. How dare you?
I've never seen the show, but I knew the answer from the Andrew Chamberlain interview.
I was just picturing the shirt and the everything. I don't know. Whatever.
Doesn't say it on the shirt, Randy.
It doesn't. I know.
Let's see your search
It
history.
says
No, I'm just
something.
kidding.
It says ADK instead of Lumen.
It says disc golf refinement, which I don't understand, but it's apparently from the show.
Yeah.
Now I'll have a good pull it out of your ass situation. I've been known to have a few myself.
Listen, Tim got Ogo Pogo, so anything's possible.
Did he
Lumen
ask if it's a
I have
disc?
no
Yeah.
clue.
Lots of good measurement names.
Yeah, it feels like a good disc name.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a yes.
I'm game. Lumen. That sounds good.
Let's do it.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
The company is LUMON, but it's pronounced LUMEN, which is Lightspeed Disc Golf, May 6th, 2024.
Heck
So
yeah.
it's a phonetical match. That was your regular question, right?
Yep.
So Shoe Boys, category 2 or category 3?
I still like 2 being. It seems like I know what it is, so
Okay. Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, wait. You know what is?
the category for 2.
Okay. Let's keep it rolling.
Corey, it's not a secret, Corey. Never mind.
You
Keep
play
going.
your game. I'll play mine, Randy. Hold number 2, Pat.
All right, question 4, category 2. From a Latin word meaning to hang comes what word for an ornament that hangs from a necklace? It's also the name of a publishing company Elaine worked for on Seinfeld. From a Latin word meaning to hang comes what word for an ornament that hangs from a necklace? It's also the name of a publishing company Elaine worked for on Seinfeld.
Pendant.
Agree.
It is.
Yes. In each part of that question, I feel confident that the answer is pendant.
Nice. Okay, I just came up with that. Well, mostly for like the ornament on the necklace part, I guess. But sweet. Yeah, pendant, Pat.
We all know that Corey would rather eat than watch Netflix, so we know he hadn't seen Seinfeld. Is the pendant a disc?
Gotta be. That one's gotta be. There's no way it's not, right?
Yeah, sure.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sorry, no.
What? Getting scammed.
Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or category 3?
I did not know that one.
Me either.
Do we
run
dare
away?
switch?
I'm fine with that.
All right, let's go to 3.
All right, question 2, category 3, right, Alex? Just double
Yes.
check. Okay.
Yep.
The red berries attract birds, and the durable wood of what evergreen tree is often used to make archery bows? The red berries attract birds, and the durable wood of what evergreen tree is often used to make archery bows?
Is it you?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what color. Yeah, it is you. It is. I know what the berries look like. They're weird and slimy.
Good. I also could not think of the berry part.
They just like never get very big. So using them for bows would be interesting, but it also kind of checks out on a lot of different levels.
I have read a lot of fantasy, and yew is definitely a wood that people use for bows.
Yeah.
Yep. There's only one other tree I can think of, and I'm not going to say it in case it's right. So let's go with you.
Everybody's green?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is the U a disc?
Is the U a disc?
I feel like we might be able to get
The phonetical.
yes,
thing out of it.
phonetical.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be another AGL disc. I mean, if Elm is
Also
one,
true. Yeah.
But what if it's named after the female sheep?
then it
Real,
still
Oh,
real
works.
that'd
plot
be-
twist. I know. It's just like there's like 3 meanings. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Or it's just the letter U.
The Sesame Street discs finally came out.
I think we're going with yes then.
I think so too.
I'm sorry, no.
Oh my god, there's like 4 different
There's so
options.
many it could be though.
I did YU, EWE, YOU. Is there any other one that you guys?
Just the letter U.
I could try that.
That's going to be real tough to search.
Wow, there are 500 discs with the U. No, I'm not.
With the
checking
letter
it. Actually, I did single letters before, and I don't recall seeing that. But all right, so that was your regular question. So we're halfway through. Randy, Alex, and Jaimen are up 5-4. A lot of not getting the discs tonight, which is good.
Nah.
Means I'm tricking you. I don't know. All right, Shoe Boys, category 2 or category 3?
I did know that one, but I would still take category 2 personally.
I knew that one for probably nerdier reasons than what Alex knew it for. So, yeah, let's go with that too. Sure.
Wait, hold on. Nerdier than reading fantasy literature?
Corey makes bows in his spare
Never mind,
time.
that is pretty nerdy. I take it back, actually. It's at worst a lateral shift, but
Like Skyrim type something?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Category
that's
2, Pat.
Okay, great.
All right. Question 5, category 2. In Stephen King's novel The Shining and its film adaptation, what is the name of the haunted hotel where Jack Torrance becomes the winter caretaker? In Stephen King's novel The Shining and its film adaptation, what is the name of the haunted hotel where Jack Torrance becomes the winter caretaker?
Hotel California, right?
That's not the answer, no. No, Mr. Torrance has always been the caretaker of the Overlook Hotel.
Yes. The Overlook Hotel.
You guys agree?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Is the Overlook a disc?
I I want to say no.
Yeah, first thought no, but if you think of like a scenic overlook, I don't know.
I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about my first instinct was no, and they've all been wrong so far. So I feel like I want to say yes, which I think lines up with what you just said, where you were thinking yes too, for a different reason.
All right, I'm sold. Yep, you got me.
Okay.
Yes.
This is why you don't have to show your work during math problems. Like, does it really matter? You got the answer.
No, just like disc golf, we're very results oriented.
Yes. Show me yes, Pat.
I'm sorry, no.
What? How did that logic fail?
It was watertight. I don't know. Unlike our shoes.
Yeah.
Or feet in your case. Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or category 3?
I like 3.
It throws
Yeah,
a wrench in
let's
what I
keep
thought
doing
3
it.
was, but yeah, I'm good with 3.
Question 3, category 3. To honor a Cherokee... Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, what was the last question?
That was question 5 and 2. So the
That
themes
was
are
5
all
and 2.
still.
My bad. That's
Yep.
on me.
5-on-2 is a wrestling move.
All right, we're good now.
All right. Question 3, category 3. To honor a Cherokee leader who died in 1843, a European botanist proposed what name for a tree? To honor a Cherokee leader who died in 1843, a European botanist proposed what name for a tree?
Okay, the only I think Native American tree that I'm thinking of is like sycamore.
Huh. That does
I
kind
don't
of
know,
sound...
though.
I have no reason to believe it, but that's the one that sounds the most Native American.
Yep, that's kind of where I came from.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? Sycamore, like the Sycamore Gap, isn't that in Europe?
Oh, that's true. That's in Scotland.
Shoot,
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay, scratch it.
Can we hear the question one more time? Could I hear? Sorry.
Randy and Alex, please don't listen.
Yeah, I took my headphones out.
Question 3, category 3. To honor a Cherokee leader who died in 1843, a European botanist proposed what name for a tree?
So died in 1843.
So it's like pre-Civil War, so it's not like a Western leader.
Well, yeah,
It'd be an East Coast Native American. I'm kind of trying to narrow it down a little.
Yeah.
I'm just like kind of throwing out names that I don't understand where they come from. Juniper.
Yep, that's one. That's not it though. That's also European.
Okay. What's it? Chestnut? I'm trying to think of like American trees that, you know.
I know.
Buckeye.
Osage?
Osage orange. That is. Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
and
That
it's
is
the
best thing I've
South.
heard so far.
Let's go with that.
Yep.
I think.
Osage.
You guys agree?
Sure.
Yes.
Shoeboys. To honor a Cherokee leader who died in 1843, a European botanist proposed what name for a tree?
Do you have any idea where the Cherokees originated from?
Not specifically, but when Randy said sycamore, for some reason it jogged in my head sequoia, which feels like a tree and very Native American.
I would lean to agree with that.
I also feel like I've heard Terry Hudson say that as a disc, maybe, because it might be an AGL because they're made by Gateway.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go with it. Koya.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Is the sequoia a disc?
Nice. Shout out Terry Hudson for the answer.
I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, we got to the answer because you thought it was. So, yes.
Above ground level, April 28th, 2025. That was a steal.
We're back, baby.
Shout out T-Hud.
Category 2 or category 3?
I still want to finish too.
Yeah, we could do it.
All right. Question 6, category 2. In the 1994 movie Pulp Fiction, what brand of tasty burger did Jules take a bite out of? In the 1994 movie Pulp Fiction, what brand of tasty burger did Jules take a bite out of?
Do you know it?
No.
It's that new Hawaiian burger joint.
Okay.
It's the Kahuna burger.
So what's the answer?
Kahuna?
You said brand of burger? That's the brand of burger?
Yeah, it's a fictional, you can have them repeat it, but it's like a fictional burger restaurant.
Oh, I thought maybe the Kahuna was like their individual special burger. Okay, yeah, Kahuna.
They also carry Sprite.
Oh, don't get me started on Sprite. Kahuna, Pat.
Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Can you be more specific?
Is it Big Kahuna, Pat?
Big Kahuna.
Is the Big Kahuna a disc?
I could see it.
I like it, but
Yeah, me too.
2 words?
But then didn't he say for disc names, like the descriptor's not as important? Like the adjective big?
True. No, that is.
For the answers, descriptor is not important. Whatever I say is going to be the disc name. Like if the answer was purple umbrella, I would say, is the umbrella a disc? I would disregard the purple when I'm asking about the disc, but I'm asking you, is the Big Kahuna a disc?
I mean, if it was good enough to name a burger restaurant, I'd say, yeah, it's a disc. I don't know.
Yeah. let's say yes.
Innova Champion Discs, April 21st, 2016.
Wow. I've never heard of that. What kind of disc is that, Corey?
Dude, not in Halo, but if I could get my hands on a Halo Big Kahuna, it's going straight in the bag. As long as it's not like one of those super class discs. I don't got space for that.
I think it is. I think it's actually a catch disc.
God damn it.
As like a Zephyr or a Condor or something?
No, like a catch disc.
Oh, like wait, the thing you actually said? Sorry.
Oh yeah, best choice 4. Catch on the beach. Okay, it's a catch disc.
Jaimen was probably on the last time I asked that
Oh,
one.
it's
been a
modeled
long
after the
time.
Pulsar.
What's the score, Pat?
I got you guys up 9-5. But Randy, Alex, and Jaimen's got the next question. Question 4, Category 3. Widespread in the Shenandoah Valley, what native Virginia tree was once the main flavoring in root beer? Widespread in the Shenandoah Valley, what native Virginia tree was once the main flavoring in root beer?
Sarsaparilla.
Thank you. I could not think of it.
I believe it. I was going to say birch, but that's birch beer. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sarsaparilla.
Sure.
I'm sorry, no.
One
We
second.
lost him.
I'm just checking something. Corey and Evan.
Oh, wow.
Widespread in the Shenandoah Valley, what native Virginia tree was once the main flavoring in root beer?
Okay, hear me out, Corey.
Yeah.
Sarsaparilla is a drink, and I know that from the movie The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
And I think that the plant that he's talking about is sassafras.
Sassafras, Zasparas. Here too, though.
Sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla.
Because I think sarsaparilla is like an alcoholic beverage, but it's not important to the answer. I think sassafras is the tree he's talking about.
Yes, I would agree.
You guys agree?
I would agree.
Is the sassafras a disc?
Darn.
No idea. It's a good. Is that a?
It's a lot of S's for one disc.
I don't know. Is AGL crazy enough to do it?
I think they are. I think they are crazy enough to do it, actually. And we say yes.
Yes, Pat.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay, not that crazy.
Terry Hudson, get on the phone to AGL. They need to make a sassafras.
But that was a steal. And you got the next question. What native Hawaiian tree, prized for its beautiful hardwood and commonly used in crafting, traditionally canoes and ukuleles, shares its name with a word meaning warrior in Hawaiian? What native Hawaiian tree, prized for its beautiful hardwood and commonly used in crafting, traditionally canoes and ukuleles, shares its name with a word meaning warrior in Hawaiian?
I think I know this one.
Is it mahogany?
No, I think it's, well, maybe it is, but I think it's Kona, like that brewery.
What brewery?
Kona. Kona. I remember that when their beers came out and the imagery was like, I think it had a canoe as like part of it. And I've also feel like I've heard of Kona being used to make ukuleles.
All right, because the only Konas I know is a Hyundai Kona and a Kona Star Panis. Kona Star Montgomery. So, yeah, I mean, if Kona is a tree or a wood, yeah, sure, Kona.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Randy, Alex, and Jaimen, what native Hawaiian tree, prized for its beautiful hardwood and commonly used in crafting, traditionally canoes and ukuleles, shares its name with a word meaning warrior in Hawaiian?
Man, I had Kona written down, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say Koa, K-O-A.
Oh.
I'm not sure if I'm right, but
And I'm going to say Kia, K-E-A.
I was thinking teak, but
teak.
Oh, teak's not a
But-
bad one.
I don't
Yeah.
like it.
It's teak isn't used for instruments. It's like furniture.
No. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Mahogany is not really used for instruments, and it's also I don't even think it's like Hawaiian.
No, that's
Why
where
are
I'm struggling.
you coming at my answer? It was a guess.
I'm not. I'm just narrowing it down. It's nothing against you, Corey. Yeah, no, I think it is Koa. That's my guess.
I like it.
We're not in contention anymore, so I say...
How
let's
dare
go
you,
with it.
Alex?
Oh my goodness, let's think about this longer.
He just ruined it for the listen.
Wait until Kyle finds out how long we think about whether or not it's a disc.
We'll take another minute or two.
We'll take our time.
No,
Let's go with Koa.
Yeah.
Is the Koa a disc?
Good call.
I was close.
You were.
very close.
You see, Kona is the name of a disc golfer, not a disc golf disc.
And a brewery
And a
And a
Hyundai.
brewery.
called Kona.
Is it a disc? I'm going to say no. No, I'm going to say yes. I changed my mind.
We're definitely going yes. Yep.
You guys
Sounds
agree?
like a plan. Yes.
Above ground level, April 28th, 2025.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, final question for Randy, Alex, and Jaimen. Can't win, but you can make it close. What type of tree known for its reddish bark that peels away in thin sheets and its ability to thrive in coastal areas of the Pacific Northwest is also called arbutus? What type of tree known for its reddish bark that peels away in thin sheets and its ability to thrive in coastal areas of the Pacific Northwest is also called arbutus?
Reddish bark that peels away. Is that just like a cedar?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought like birch, but that's not reddish.
Yeah, birch
Yeah,
is not
and
red.
Pacific Northwest just makes me think cedars everywhere, right?
I'm pretty sure cedar is an AGL disc.
It is.
Seemed way too simple for question 6.
I know.
but
That's what I was thinking too.
yeah. Reddish bark that peels away. Yeah, I don't really have.
The only bark that I know that like peels away is birch bark.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of like cedar bark, it can be kind of like fuzzy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no. I totally feel you. And the color, and cedars do have like color. You know, we use cedar for the tags every year.
yeah, Western cedar.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would say cedar.
for the win. No, let's go cedar.
Sure.
Shoeboys, what type of tree known for its reddish bark that peels away in thin sheets and its ability to thrive in coastal areas of the Pacific Northwest is also called arbutus?
No idea.
Yeah, I like cedar. Reddish bark.
I know birch is not red, but like Alex said, it's the only thing I can think of that peels.
How about redwood?
Yeah, I mean,
Redwood, Pat. It makes sense.
Yep.
The
You
bark
guys agree?
peels off. Yeah, redwood.
We're looking for madrone, above ground level, November 23rd, 2018.
Never even heard of it.
Madrone, madrone.
and for the record, I think some people do use mahogany to make electric space guitars, but just throwing that out there.
They don't matter.
Validated.
Yeah, I know. So believe me, I know.
Isn't no, I used to play bass, but it's not a tone wood.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I knew that.
The Shoeboys beat Randy, Alex, and Jaimen 10-7.
Nice. I will say sarsaparilla and sassafras are both used for
That's-
making root beer, but one is
Is
That's one where
sarsaparilla
I
not
should have taken a
not a
second.
drink? Did I get that wrong?
it is also a drink, but they're both flavors in root beer.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All I could think of was what's his name in The Big Lebowski, the stranger, famous actor,
yeah.
Sam Elliott, Sioux City sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But then we have to determine if it's widespread in the Shenandoah Valley and native to Virginia.
Yes, and that was
true.
not
Those
at
are the
all.
qualifiers, I guess. Yeah.
Always add qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's all about
Yeah.
covering my ass. I don't.
I've never been able to remember which one's which, and one of them grows on hole 18 at Moreau, and it's the one Evan said. I think sassafras, right?
Yeah.
The leaves look like mittens.
Yeah, when they're young, I think of them like little dinosaur footprints.
Ooh.
But yeah, they're cool.
That's fun.
Super cool tree.
What's also cool is Tyler the Cannon Gannon and Ben Blaufus shot a -11 at CPS, the 2025 Point Series Week 4 on Thursday.
The cannon.
That is cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very quickly, Corey said something that jogged my memory when he mentioned Kona being a car. Does anybody else ever see cars with disc names and then like make unfair assumptions about them?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen Mark Bryan's car? He put flight numbers under the word Maverick on his car.
The first thing I thought of instantly.
Yeah, I've seen like DX models and be like, oh, those must suck. Like,
the base model.
yeah, there's like a Mirage. I'm like, oh, that thing's probably really unreliable.
Corolla. Yeah, like a DX or used to.
I don't remember what it is. I just see it every now and then. Like the first thing that pops into my head is like disc judgments.
Eamon Foster shot a -10 at Cranmore Dubs League.
Cali.
James Green shot a -3 at Long Island Disc Golf Mando Madness Tag Round on Saturday. And Nikos Hanley, who I believe is Nikos Hell Yeah, and Josh Winkler shot a -12 at Long Island Sunday Dub. So that is that.
Did Kenji win the DisCap Monthly? Did I see that?
Oh, we didn't go over the DisCap Monthly. I forgot.
I was there.
Oh, is that a thing?
What do you got?
Lake Taghkanic State Park Disc Golf Course is small. It was neat. If I lived nearby, I would play it. And we didn't have to pay to get in, but they start charging $10 after Memorial Day. And I wouldn't pay $10 to play it because it's so close to Wilcox. But there were 6 of us, including me and JJ and the Klein boys and AT and Michael Tehan. And we played on one card because none of us were very familiar with it. And Kenji and JJ tied at +3 and had a playoff, and Kenji won.
But it's not Taconic. How do you spell it?
So I was told that it is Taghkanic, and it's a different, perhaps more quote unquote accurate spelling.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's spelled Taghkanic.
K-O-N-I-C?
I think.
A and U disc.
Hold up. Oh, and what you sent me.
Oh yeah, you're right. I might have got. Well, one of those is correct and one is wrong.
I think it's like Anic, like panic.
But then there's apparently a Taconic something Rudd Pond, Taghkanic Park. Are you guys aware of that? That's also like 20 minutes away in the Wilcox vicinity. A different, like Taconic.
Probably like
I've heard of it.
Different spellings for that word.
After the monthly, JJ and Kenji and Brandon went to that other Taghkanic to play another 9-hole round, but I had to go home.
So anybody playing the Friday Flex at Burbine?
I'm signed up for it.
When is that?
Friday.
That sounds like you're not playing it, Corey.
I don't know. I'm taking it easy this week because I want, between that and the Wilcox 2-day tournament is weekend. So
is that this
and
Friday?
Evan asked when it was, so I assume he doesn't understand that it's Friday. It's coming up.
It's Friday, and I'm playing at 12:10, which means I must have taken the day off of work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Burbine?
Burbine? Oh, sweet. Cool. I've been there before.
What about the Wilcox warm-up?
No, I was looking at it, but I passed.
Anybody?
I am playing the Wilcox Warmup.
Yeah, I'm signed up.
You are? Okay.
It is a local B tier, so might as well.
All right. We also got Athena's Owls and the NEA DGC. What is that, Alex?
Oh, Northeast Amateur Disc Golf Championship.
All right. Just testing you, see if you remember from last week. Anything else?
I had a stray thought earlier when Jaimen was talking about playing with people and he was like wowed by their level. That's how I felt playing with Justin and Kyle at Pro League at J Park.
They don't need to hear that.
Yeah, cut that out.
No, you don't have to put that in. I'm telling you guys, like when you were talking about that, I was like, yeah, I know what that means, except it's like when I play with Randy or Jaimen or any of you guys, but specifically at Pro League, it was Justin and Kyle. Yeah, don't put that in, Pat. That's fine.
Yeah, the two biggest big heads. That's what they needed to hear.
They were both very cool. I had a terrible round and like it was very chill. Vibes were fine. I played like shit.
Matt Cully's birthday's on Thursday, so this comes out on Thursday.
Nice. I played with him tonight. Well, he was on my card tonight at Prospect. He wasn't my partner, but I played with him.
So theoretically today, if I can get this out in the proper time. All right. Anybody else? Any other birthdays? No. We'll cover up Skip Ace next week. Terry Hudson made a comment. He was talking about the 3 minutes. We mentioned that in one of our pre-episode jibber jabbers. Mm-hmm. And he said, what if the 3 minutes is someone counting to 180 in their head versus actually timing or saying when they're starting? How accurate is the 180 seconds being counted by the person? And when did it start if they never called out to start looking? Just being hypothetical. I only mention this because I always felt like with the 3 minute rule, once everybody starts looking, that's when it starts.
Yes.
Like if Alex threw early left and he goes to look for his disc, I'm going to go spend that minute looking for mine. And if other people help, that's great. When Alex comes over to start helping with mine, that's when I'm going to say, okay, we should probably start 3 minutes, right? Yeah. When everybody's actively looking, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a PDGA rule for sure. 3 minutes can't start until everyone is looking.
And you announce it.
Well, yeah, colloquially, you need to announce it. I don't know if that's a PDGA rule or not, but that's how I've always played is someone needs to announce, hey, 3 minutes has started in order for the 3 minutes to actually start.
Yeah. I mean, he was just being goofy. I just thought it was
No, he wasn't. My hypothetical wasn't hypothetical, and it was his lost disc, and I told him I counted to 3. I said I counted to 180 in my head, and so it's a little back and forth. I love Terry, so it's all good, but that was not a hypothetical.
What was the scenario, real quick?
Tee shot at what was it? The Volunteer Open, I guess. He went right on the hole where there's a sign hanging on a tree to point you to the basket because it's in that little depression. He went right by the other tee pad. We were looking. I said, "Hey man, it's 3 minutes." I counted, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't hear any Mississippis." And then he started walking back, and he found it, and it wasn't. I mean, yes, I didn't have a stopwatch, and
Did you announce when it was started though?
That was a long time ago. Who could say? I don't recall.
I think that's the crux of it.
Yeah.
In order to announce the end of it, you got to announce the start of it.
It wasn't a big thing at the time. It just presented a way for me to ask, what was presented as a more official rules question, I guess.
Also, at the same time, every time 3 minutes has ever been called, it's always been more like 10 minutes. Like by the time someone's like, "All right, I think we should start a timer," we've already been looking for 5 minutes. There's already 2 cards on the goddamn hole waiting behind us. Maybe we should, and then you always get 3 more minutes.
One, I wait until everybody's looking. And then the other thing is, if it's a light tournament and there's not a card right behind us, I might wait an extra minute. If I don't hear anybody say something, then I'll be like, oh, well, we should probably start 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's arbitrary. I get that. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting comment. I didn't realize it was a pointed comment, but, we learn. All right. Anything before we go? Is Matt Cully the only birthday?
That I know of.
All right. Well, thank you, Corey, Randy, Jaimen, Evan, and Alex. And Jason, thank you for your thought-provoking rules question. And sweet up, Hudson.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, everybody.
Did Jaimen say he was going to be on?
He said he's running a few minutes late. Evan's running
okay.
a bit late. Alex won't be on until probably another hour or so.
Jaimen better be here because I got questions for him.
Yeah, I really want to know more about his first round at I'll say it again. It's fine.
They par +4 his ass, it looked like.
No, don't believe that. He fucking sucks at hole 1. He messed it up.
That's there's no way I'm going to believe that because literally nobody else took an 8 on that hole. I already looked.
That's the second he got home. I was like, what happened?
Well, yeah, when it's 7 minutes before his tee time and he's responding to the chat about previous episodes, and then you hear I'm running late to my tee time, and then see he got an 8 on hole 1. I'm like, damn it, Jaimen. I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Just to speculate. I mean, the weather was dog shit, so I'm sure that didn't play into it at all.
I just looked at because I was just pulling up the tournament stuff, and one person finished under par in that entire Cosmic Open. I assume that's what you're talking about. I had to step away for a second.
Yeah. It was brutal.
Yeah. Simon Lizotte shot a -5. Everybody else, everybody else shot like +5 is the next nearest.
They were crazy. No, it was crazy. I mean, like, I think David Fleck was one of the first people in that was like a decent score. And I say decent because I think it was like +13 rated 10-12 or something like that. Or maybe was it 13 or 15? Whatever it was like, wow, double digits over par, was over 1,000 rated. Yeah, day 2 and day 3 looked a lot better. Although I haven't seen day 3 because coverage isn't out yet, but I have watched day 1 and day 2. And every video starts with freaking Adam Nelson in the background right in front of the camera.
He always knows where to stand.
Yeah, round two is Adam Nelson, David Koch, and JP Hafner, and Hafner's got a PBR in his hand. I had no anticipation of like drinking beers tonight. Been trying to cut down on this little beer belly I've been kind of growing over the past few weeks, but I'll talk more about it later. But my finger is kind of fucked up, so I don't think I'm gonna from playing disc golf. I don't think I'm gonna be playing dubs tomorrow. So I'm like, if I'm gonna go to the park anyways. Let me get my chainsaw and get that all going, and I'll just do some park cleanup instead of like coming home and going back down there. So I cleaned up my chainsaw. I got it all put back together. I'm like, I might as well go test it. So I started like cutting up some trees in the backyard, and one thing led to another. Now I have a stack of wood. And I'm like, man, I could really go for a beer right now. So I hopped in the car and drove down to Ravenna. And now I'm in the brewskis, some Miller Lights, a little lower calories than a PBR, but it's delicious.
Dude, we got the Miller Lights that have the screw top on them for glow. And it's a game changer having those on the course.
Because you can put a cap on it and
you can
over
like
your
cap
bag
it
and stuff.
Just literally chuck it. I was using like a satchel bag for glow, and you can just like chuck it in the bag. Doesn't matter.
When you say glow, did you mean the end of round 1 for MPO at the Cosmic Open?
So the joke is that we had a tee time booked for glow on Friday night, which we had no intentions of going to because
when you meant glow, you meant actually. I didn't realize they were doing that. Well,
yes,
maybe
there was glow Friday and Saturday night. The Cosmic Glowpin.
Nice.
And yeah, we did not, after we saw the weather and everything, we didn't really plan to go. But like Jaimen was still playing when he was supposed to be playing glow with us if the weather was good. Like that's how late it pushed on.
Did you guys all stay together?
Yeah, we had like 8 people in the Airbnb.
I don't want to ask too many questions before Jaimen gets
No, I know. I feel we just got to keep talking about it until he shows up. Flow right into it. But we did play glow on Saturday night. It was pleasant. The weather, it was still a little soggy out there. But yeah, screw top Millers, amazing.
I've never done the cost analysis to see like what is the upcharge on. They come in like, is it a 12 pack or the 15 pack that come in? Either way,
it's more. That's all I know.
Yeah, but is the convenience worth the upcharge? Is what I want to know.
Maybe not. I don't think I would buy them regularly, but if I knew I was doing glow or like a disc golf weekend of like getting guys together going to play a bunch, I think it's worth it.
Or like if you were like renting out a trampoline park or something and you wanted to like drink while you were jumping.
Yeah.
You couldn't put your drink down.
Yeah, it seems like for disc golf it would be a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have to start looking into that because it's kind of annoying. Like, put your beer down, but you don't want to like have it tip over. So maybe you put it in your pocket of your bag, and then you forget that it's in your pocket of your bag, so you throw it over your shoulder. Next thing you know, there's beer everywhere.
Yeah, no, and we were using them as minis a lot too. So you can just plop it down. Not the end of the world if you accidentally knock it over or whatever. It was good.
I don't know the rule, but I don't think that is a PBJ approved.
I think it's too thick.
It's close. It's close to the right size.
You're not trying to jump on that Zen wave, just a bunch of the frat boys out there zinning, using their Zin container for their minis.
I'm thinking about it now.
Sounds a lot more badass when you put it that way. But no, yeah, I remember I was watching, Friday, what was I doing? Well, I was trying to have an early night before Mighty Gaw. But I was watching the scores they were coming in, and at one point, it seemed like the scores stopped coming in, so I thought maybe they called it. At this, it's like 8 o'clock. Like, I'm looking out my window, and it's dark out, and Massachusetts is east, which means it gets darker sooner, right? That's kind of how it works.
How it works. Yep.
And I'm like, there's no way they're still playing. And then I saw like scores for 17 come in, and I'm like, what? How is this even possible? And then the gatekeeper coverage comes out, and like hole 16 or whatever, it's like you can't see shit, and then the coverage just I'm watching it, and I see that there's like a minute left in the coverage, but they're on hole 16. I'm like, well, how is this gonna work out? And then they're like, yeah, it was just too dark to even film, so we stopped filming.
Yeah, I kept bringing it up. I was like, there's a point where you just can't film anymore. Like, there's just not enough light. And everyone kept saying like, oh, you remember the Open at Austin where they filmed that playoff and it was super dark, but they can just like turn the settings up on the camera. I'm like, that only goes
so far.
Like nighttime doesn't work out. And it's true. Yeah, they couldn't really film after hole 16.
Side question, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big bird guy. Are you a big food of birds guy? Particularly spiders.
Sure, I can be.
Okay, giant fucking brown spider in my yard. What is it?
Wolf spider.
We have those up here?
Oh yeah. They're totally common and like harmless.
Oh, harmless. Okay.
They in their wood pile.
Some downed limbs that I was cutting up. Yeah, I went to go like roll one over, and dude, this thing was like the size of my hand.
Oh, I love them. They are terrifying, but you don't need to worry about them.
Okay, now what if they were slightly smaller but black?
That I don't know.
Because so I saw the brown spider today when I was cutting up wood. I walked away for a second, but there's definitely been times when I've been like in the garage, like on the floor or on my creeper, and I like look over, like underneath the car. I look over to grab a tool, and there's just a giant fucking black spider there, and I don't know how concerned I should be. Like, there's no spiders up here that can kill us, right?
Not really. I think that like technically there can be, but it's like super rare. And I don't know. When was the last time you heard about somebody getting like actually injured by a spider? There's like a reddish pink one that will bite you, but it's not like deadly or anything. But I've seen those a couple times, like unstacking wood, and they're kind of terrifying.
All right, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I'd rather get stung by 10 bees than to like get bit by. I'm not like an arachnophobe or whatever. I don't really mind them, but something about a spider biting me seems a lot more terrifying than getting stung by a bee. I mean, I've gotten stung by a bee plenty of times, and not a spider getting bit.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about it, honestly.
What else?